Alright guys, welcome back to Dope Check episode number 46, and it's a special one this week, because last week after Major 1, all hell broke loose on the timeline. Rostermania is in full force. It's not just Seattle Surge, it's not just a couple of other teams, it's not just Vegas Falcons, it's OpTic Texas as well. The saga continues over for the Green Wall. PRED is back in the lineup. Huke is gone. So much drama. Who made the decision? Was it Shotzi, like Formal said? Shotzi then denies the claims. How did Huke get dropped again? Is it unfair? How was Kenny involved in this whole saga after he hit the stream? And a lot of fans are not very happy about Kenny's involvement in this whole situation. Gentlemen, we are back and it is good to be back. Ace, how are we doing? The chat is in full force. Trey's here as well. We have a lot to discuss today, gentlemen.
It's a glorious day in Dope Check. It's going to be one for the books. I'm juiced to talk about, anytime there's an OpTic drama, bomb, whatever it may be, it's always a time when we come together, three great minds, and create a great episode of Dope Check. So episode 46 is going to be a banger. I can't wait to get into it.
Three great minds, yeah. That's where we went with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 500 people here right now that are going to heavily disagree. But I don't. We are the greatest minds to attack the Call of Duty podcast realm. Anyone that disagrees, you're all dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said it. I'll say it
again.
You're all dumb. You're all as bad as Patrick Mahomes was last night. Ha! He was ass.
I don't watch it, but he was apparently ass. This guy has no dog.
He has no dog. He was just dog.
We are so back. All right, gentlemen, let's just crack straight on. There's no time to waste today. We're going to start, not here, because we did that on the pre-show. Shout out the boys. We're going to start with a little bit of follow-up to some of the beef that we saw at the Major. We had Drazah coming out on stream talking about the whole Scrappy situation, saying that he's got no respect for him, and that because he's got no respect, he ain't going to try and fist bump. So, I mean, this drama, maybe it's overblown, whatever it is, but Drazah came out and said Scrappy's begging for fist bumps because Drazah didn't fist bump him certainly didn't fist bump him in the K-Sun tournament, didn't fist bump him at the 2v2, didn't fist bump him in the winners finals. Then Drazah's like, well, why are you trying to fist bump me in the grand finals? Obviously, I've got no respect for you. Obviously, it's not going to happen. So I will say, Scrap, complete radio silence is the Major, whereas Drazah's like, he's still been on smoke a little bit.
Yeah.
Trey?
I mean, listen. I think we all know about the beef that they've had, and we all have our opinions on it. But if Drazah's not done with it, and he still says, "Nah, fuck that guy, I don't respect him," for whatever, for the reasons of that interaction where they were having a talk on Twitter, and like you said last time we spoke about this, it's like he cussed out his kid and stuff like that. Fuck it. If he don't want it, if he don't want to, fist bump or be friends with him, so be it. That's up to him. No one should give a fuck about it. If Scrap's ready for it to be over and Drazah ain't, this is where we're at, and it's going to keep continuing being like this. Do I reckon it's like they're going to ever fight? No, I don't think it's ever going to get that far. Scrap just doesn't like him. Drazah don't like him, and that's where we'll just leave it.
Yeah, not only should it not get to it shouldn't get to that point, right? We don't want it to get to that point. It'd be funny, but that like two grown men, professionals on stage. Okay, I understand for the content purposes, but them duking it out on the main stage, I think would be a little bit wild. I totally understand Drazah. I mean, we spoke about it last week, but I totally understand Drazah's perspective. He's right to feel his way. Two men are just being professionals, doing their jobs. They don't have to be friends. They don't have to fist bump. There's nowhere in the CDL handbook that tells you, oh boy, you have to fist bump after matches. That's just something that we've done because of tradition and ritual, and that's just how we do things in COD, right? And esports in general. That's just what happens. If he doesn't want to do it, there's no fine or anything. So everyone's free to do what they want to do. I like the drama. I like this drama at least that it carries and lingers, because there will be a lot more grand finals this year where we see LAT and FaZe match up, and that's just going to add to the fire every time those two get on stage together.
Now, Rab, do you remember there was one other big beef that happened a few years back? I don't know if you ever covered it.
Go on,
Rated
enlighten me.
And Clayster.
Oh, I do. This is a sensational beef. One of my favourites, actually. I did cover it a little bit. I mean, do you want to give a little bit of background?
Well, the background is we got smoked at PSX. Like we got heavy. Like my team got heavily come back on by FaZe. Then we lost an S&D that we got come back on to, against Clay. And instead of fist bumping after, Rated did not want to fist bump Clay and called him a druggie.
Oh.
Basically called him an Adderall abuser and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sat there out the side because I was popping some beans too. I weren't gonna lie, so I'm out the side. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Don't want to be a hypocrite. And then they bump into each other outside of our hotel. They start going back and forth. It was crazy. It was crazy. Did they ever fight? No. But listen, not everyone has to get along.
Yeah.
Not everyone has to get along. It's fine. And to everyone saying
tweets,
nah,
they
should just fight it out in private. What's that gonna solve? They're still not gonna like each other.
As long as it's broadcast publicly, someone's got it on Periscope, I'll be there. The only bit of this beef that I remember is, I think it was at PSX when Rated had Tiff in his clan tag. I don't know if it was PSX, but that was like Clay's.
I don't know what he done.
Clay was going through something. I don't know, was it a breakup or something with his girl called Tiffany or something, and he had Tiff in his clan tag, and obviously that Clay weren't very happy with that. So this is probably my favorite thing. Actually, these tweets are pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. I probably should get off these. All good.
That's W demon time though at a Rated. I can't lie. Like that's really being about it right there. We got to get a little bit of inspiration there. If we're gonna continue this beef with Drazah and Scrap, someone's got to put a clan tag in or something. Have fun with it. Have fun with it.
You can still do it, right? Like, it's nothing stopping you, holding you back. It's just back in the day, it used to be really.
It was creative. When he said he was going to do it, I was like, ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. It's just getting into your opponent's head. I think it's all fair game as far as I'm concerned. There's also, speaking of some of this onstage drama, this is in a different esport, but this is in Rainbow Six. So I think the background on this is that this guy, as you can see here, he is a coach for the M80 Rainbow Six team. He was told he couldn't communicate with his team. I think this is the context. Some of you guys in the chat may know better than me. I wasn't watching this live. But he was told, as is the case nowadays in many esports, couldn't communicate with the rest of the team. So he got warned a couple of times for it. He did it again, and his team got forfeited a round. He weren't very happy about it. After they lose the series, he goes over to the other guy and starts, trying to do an Nate shot circa 2012. And Clace has commented on it saying, I might, be doing this. All I'm saying is, we don't see coaches get involved in enough drama. In other sports and esports, coaches are in the mix as well. In our sport, the coaches are backstage. By the time they come up to the main stage, they've calmed down. I don't like that. I want to go back to the Mr. X days where the coaches are standing behind the teams talking trash during the matches.
Listen, the first second of this video when the team is hugging it out and then the cameraman geniusly pans over and this guy's narrating that is so good. It's such like if anyone watches The Office, it looks like a video at The Office. Like it's like this is happening normal over here, right here. This guy's just berating them right here on the side. Holy
cameraman was locked in.
He did the fantastic job. I like the passion, I guess, but we got to keep it professional. Like I said, like even with the Scrap and Drazah stuff, this is a different professional esport. Like, bro, keep it professional. Talk backstage, maybe air your grievances out with the proper officials. Maybe even tweet it if you want to, right? You could talk about it on Twitter and get some social people behind you. But doing it this way, yeah, like bumping into another player and stuff, this is kind of insane. This is messed up.
If a guy like that gets to my face after I've just won a match, he's getting fucking lamped.
Yeah, he deserves
he's
it
in
too.
my if he's in my face like this, pointing in my face and shit, mate, I'm decking him.
Nah, they won regardless, right? They won. So, like, this guy doing this and being mad, I'd laugh and be like, haha, that's funny. But once the guy's walking and he bumps into him, like, he comes chest to chest, like, what's up? That's when he honestly, if the other guy swung at him at that second, it was way back when. But I've talked about a million times how I want coaches to get more involved in COD, makes their role more valuable, have them on stage during S&D, or have them talking between rounds, maybe at S&Ds, maybe a timeout can get put in there. This kind of stuff I think would really reinvigorate the role of coach. It would make this esport more interesting. It would make COD a little bit more strategic and effective. And I think it would overall be better for the players, the coaches, the staff, the orgs, the viewership. It would be another layer to the game that'd be really fun to add.
That was weird. OBS just told me I disconnected, but seems like we're back. So stream hasn't gone down. Should be all good. Let's just continue and pretend that didn't happen. But I agree.
Tweeted he's been banned for 2 years.
I'm down.
2 years?
2 years is kind of crazy, isn't it?
2 years, yeah, for that is a little bit wild.
But apparently he
Is
just
this
came
someone?
back from another ban. Apparently this is like not. He just literally just got unbanned for something
Listen,
else.
I will say getting banned for this is soft.
If it's like,
by the league, you're saying the league is soft for doing that?
Yeah, I mean, like he's not like listen, like I said, I'd lamp him, but like it's not like he's saying anything crazy. He's just being passionate for his team. Is it like disrespectful? Yeah, but like, is it worth a 2? It's not like he shot someone. You know, he didn't punch anyone. He's just talking crazy.
hit the refresh on the stream chat and see if that improves things. People are saying that the audio keeps cutting out. This was happening to us in Madrid, where the audio wasn't liking it, but if you refresh the stream, it's back to normal. But I don't know. Someone can who's actually sim or something, check if the audio is cooked or not. I don't understand. On mine, it looks absolutely fine, but I think it might be.
I just
being
unmuted.
weird.
I unmuted. You sound good. It might be. Maybe it's me and Trey only. Maybe.
Refresh worked. People saying, yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. It's just YouTube being buggy.
They said refresh works.
Yeah. Quick refresh. It's a YouTube bug.
All good.
boys.
Sorry about that. Hopefully YouTube will fix that BS because it's.
As soon as I give a good take about the coaches.
Yeah, I know. He gave a
man.
good take and YouTube decided to shut him down. That is,
good,
the
man.
universe is working in our favor. Okay, good
That's
to
crazy.
hear. It's working, gentlemen. If you did hit the refresh, by the way, hit a like on the stream. Little like, goes a long way. All right, all good. We are back in business. The other thing I want to say, given that Trey's been playing a bit of ranked over the last couple of days, are these new maps arse?
Oh, they're so ass. Oh
so
my god, they are terrible. There's one that I could see semi-working. I can't remember what it's called, though. Yeah, that one on the left. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could, semi-work, I think. But that other map, oh my god. I think even Stevie Wonder would hate playing that map.
Here it is. Bounty.
My word.
Some people like
Dealership
dealership
is viable, yeah.
Yeah. People are saying for
It-
search
it-
it
I
could work
wa-
at least.
I would say it is viable. Dealership is viable, but none of them are good by no means. This map, though, Bounty. Woo!
It ain't no frequency.
wa-
No Arsenal.
I was running around, Rab. You can jump on lights. You can go through vents. You can go in an elevator. You can go up a fucking wall. Oh, it's so ass.
The chat is pretty split on this. This is what happens when you use ChatGPT to make maps. Bounty is so ass,
Yeah.
says Michael.
Listen, the only people that will like this bounty map is those TikTok moron degens that do 360 YYs whilst hacking with some fucking Playboy Carti music in the background, just spinning doing 360s, thinking this map's fucking class. This map is so bad.
So what you're trying to say is this map is going to be put in the rotation, basically. That's kind of what you're
Probably.
saying. to me.
It probably will be, yeah.
Yeah.
Low key.
When you give me that context, it sounds like this is the one that the devs for some reason are going to lean towards. Like, damn, the clips are going to go crazy on this one.
What? It's fucking mixy, yeah. Throw it in there.
Yeah.
Shit, 4-piece, yeah.
The thing is,
What,
I don't
the
know
ARs
how
are
that
ass?
works now with
Throw
the
it
pros.
in there.
Do the pros... Because obviously last time, the pros didn't really get a say. Okay, they wanted Hassian, but they didn't get a say what was going to be removed. The CDL just made their mind up for them. Whereas this time, we got Dealership, we got Bounty. The pros have seemingly been too distracted with dealing with the Jackal and stuff to actually figure out what they're going to do with these maps or if they're going to do anything at all. Shout out Titan Fighter, by the way, with a 2. Who's to blame for the ass maps because Von der Haar left, question mark? I think all the developer teams are washed, respectfully.
Okay,
Warzone's to blame.
I know
actually, that's my take.
Warzone is number one to blame, but Vonderhaar, we give him a lot of credit, and he deserves the credit. But we can, Trey can attest, I'm sure, that even while he was there towards the end of his tenure, we still were getting quite a collection of ass maps. So I think Vonderhaar directionally for the game was still doing good stuff.
They gave us Garrison. Like, come on now.
You see what I'm
Garrison,
saying? Like,
checkmate.
Garrison actually feels good compared to what we have today.
Now, respectfully,
Yeah.
respectfully, you put Garrison and checkmate in this game, they might be the best maps in the game, which is how far we've come. All right.
Yeah.
We've gone from Arsenal.
These maps
We've gone from Arsenal. We've gone from Fringe. We've gone from Standoff. We've gone to Raid to Bounty.
Yeah. It's not a good state of the game. And again, like I said, the people to the Warzone problem, and generally how fast-paced, I guess, they're trying to make the game, and like multi-level, they're trying to make it they're trying to make the maps interesting rather than competitive, which I don't know. It's counterintuitive. I get you want to make it fun for pubs, but like, bro, you have to make stuff that's gonna be workable in your $1 million league. So that's kind of my avenue of it.
I think we can all say respectfully, they don't really give a fuck about the $1 million league.
I mean, it's the smallest part of their.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Budget, literally.
Yeah, I think. No, I don't think Vonderhaar's to blame for going, or like the maps being ash. Should we say? I just think most of the development teams now these days, they're just not great.
Sledgehammer honestly are the best. It's my new take. Because last year Sledgehammer came up with 6-star, they came up with Vista. Like those were genuinely good, well-designed,
and they were 3-lane maps.
3-lane competitive maps. Like Rio especially is a good example of a map that it might not be spectacular, it might not go down in COD history, but like Rio was at the level of some of the better maps we've had in the CDL era. Absolutely. Like it's one of the better ones. It's a 3-lane map. It's got some interesting features. It's pretty symmetrical. Like the flow is pretty good. The spawns make some degree of sense. It's viable for the different game modes. It's like that was a map. And 6-star was a really cool map, I thought. Vista, I know some people didn't like. I thought it was great visually and elsewhere. It's like, you know, Sledgehammer cooked up 3 maps there that they brought in mid-season, which were actually good competitive maps. And without them, bloody hell, last year's game would have been rough. Like those original MW2 maps in 2009 don't really hit anymore as far as I'm concerned. So we're very lucky to have those maps in some respects. And then, of course, Treyarch come around this year and they can still produce a game that kind of feels like a Treyarch game, which I like. But the maps ain't there anymore. Like Vista, 6-star, Rio, they felt like classic Treyarch maps in some respects. And I did genuinely think that Sledgehammer took some inspiration from some of the classic Treyarch maps. So they seem to be the only dev team that cares about doing it.
Motherfuckers had me still playing Estate in the big old 2024. Estate.
I just want to hold everyone accountable to the fact, right? I'm just going to be the guy to do it because it's my job to do this. We were saying last year when those maps got entered that they were ass too.
I don't think I was their ass.
I may have to bring up the hot seat next week for you because
no, you can go find it.
Last year they were ass.
Hit the refresh, Johnny. Hit the refresh. It'll fix itself.
I feel like we would say any map that came out in the past 2 years is ass.
To be honest, like, you also need a bit of time to see how the map plays. That is like, you know. Yes. So I'm just hoping, as far as this game goes, I think I can confidently say that a lot of these maps are ass, but will we in 1 year's time look back and be like, oh man, red card, oh man, protocol, oh man, will we do that again next year? There is always a little bit of like COD circle, because I was thinking about Black Ops 4, because yesterday someone put on Reddit, it was like, you don't know what you had until you lost it or whatever. And it was a picture of Seaside. And Seaside, legendary map from BF4 for many reasons.
Great map.
Yeah, great map for sure. But honestly, in my tier list, it was like my 5th favorite BO4 map. Like, I mean, you got Arsenal, you got Frequency, you got Hacienda. I loved Gridlock. I was a big Gridlock fan. And I mean, that's pretty much it for the map pool, to be fair. And Seaside was in the game as well. And see, I don't know. I didn't think Seaside's a good map for sure, but I didn't think even in that game it was like a legendary map. I think it was the weakest of the maps in the game, my personal opinion. But you compare that map to today, and bloody hell. So I understand why there's a little bit of recency. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say that tells you a lot. If that was the weakest one in that game, they were in their chef's bag with that game, cooking up maps. Like whoever developed that game whoever did the map development of those games, they need to double up, rehire them, give them raises, bring them back, and make them cook up some DLC maps. Because holy hell, Black Ops 4 maps were the last time that we actually cooked when it came to map development, competitive maps, and such. And of course, it was, before proper Warzone came out. So,
I mean, people forgetting that we were playing like at the start of that game when it first came out. We were playing Contraband Hardpoint and shit.
Oh my god, Contraband.
Lord.
Wow. Yeah, people were talking about the same thing, like slums. I'm talking about some BO2 maps, right? Someone like Yemen. I mean, I always like Yemen, but people look back at BO2, they're not like, gooned over Yemen, for lack of a better description. But today, like that would be fire. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the maps. I think dealership could potentially be viable. I know people have talked about it, maybe for Search and Destroy could come in, but the issue is like, I don't know how the system works because the pros, today is Monday. Today is the day typically where the CDL needs to lock in everything for the stage. So if the map pool hasn't changed by today, it ain't going to change for the stage. And that's probably where we're going to be. Because I don't know if the pros have even been practicing these maps. They're probably not. They've probably not even tried them. Partly I don't blame them, but equally, could have been worth a go, couldn't it? If you're going to keep complaining about the map set.
Right.
The other thing they've been talking about is the Jackal. What do we think about this? The Jackal has been nerfed via a GA, which seems to have been upheld, but it's kind of confusing because a lot of the AR players seem to be down for this. Some of the AR players not so down for it. Some of the SMGs most certainly not so down for it. So what happened the other day is the ARs came out and they GA'd the long barrel and the reinforced barrel. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Basically, they GA'd both of those. They had to use the gain twist or whatever it's called. And it makes the SMG significantly weaker than it was before. A lot of the SMG players have then pulled out the C9, which is basically the MP5. And then the ARs are trying to GA that gun as well. So it's a complete mess these last few days. We've got SMG players talking about how they're not going to respect the GA. O4 says that Real and him are going to take a stand against it. We've got other players saying that these decisions are being made without even the voting going through. So it just seems like a complete mess. And I just will throw in there as well, just for good measure. With all this going on, Hydra still stair glitched to the major and nothing apparently has been done about it. So the GAs are completely out of control as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Trey, this is your time to cook, man.
I'm getting sick of it. I really am. It's stop GAing attachments. Stop doing this. If the Jackal's so good and the AR's so bad, un-GA an AR. Stop. You guys are just fucking beating around the bush. You're doing too much left-right rhubarb, pissing me off. Unban a goddamn AR that can compete with the Jackal if it's so fucking good, or just GA the Jackal. We stop doing the attachments. Bring back an AR. Make the game good again. Bring back the Krig. Everyone complains about the Krig. But if the Jackal's so good, bring back the Krig. We're just GAing attachments. Do them ahead. And motherfuckers taking off springs and shit.
I'm going the route of the killer route, man. At this point, if we can't agree on anything, bring everything back. Free it up, man. This game, let the game be free. Whatever you want to use, basically, throw it on and just start shooting everyone. Because if we can't get to a simple agreement like we have in years past, then I don't know. It's just kind of like the joke of the esport thing that Trey has said a few times is just becoming more and more true. And to be honest, on the AR side, right, the Jackal is overpowered. All you're doing is taking off a little bit of range. The gun is still, if anyone uses it, go to ranked play today or a pub or whatever, and take off long barrel one time and just try using it. It's still godlike. So I actually am going to lean on the side of the ARs and say that the subs are crybaby cheesing very heavy right now. The gun is still good. The range, we've seen things in games when, some of the greatest players of all time, Simps shooting it, Abizi's shooting it, Hydra shooting it. They're beaming AR players and people across maps. That can't happen. So I think this GA is pretty justified. The subs being annoyed with it. Grow up, man. Grow up.
Bro, we never GA'd any subs, though. Motherfuckers got to use the MP5. They got to use the Rival. They got to use the 7.4U. There's me and me puny Krig. Don't get me started on the MP40. The 3-bullet machine.
MP40 wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, but the auto was also good, right? This classic.
And guess what? The subs go, but we got Bloom. Shut up.
That's true. I don't know.
They're trying to do too much. Just bring back a godlike AR. You've already got a godlike sub, and play the goddamn game. A lot of people complaining. Sorry, Ace. A lot of people complaining. You're still going to be ass. The top teams are still going to be the top teams. It don't matter what gun's in your hand, buddy. It don't matter what's GA'd. You still going to get shit on.
That is true, too. That's the other side of it, too. Like, regardless of what you un-GA, Simp is still going to be Simp. Hydra's still going to be Hydra. Shotzi's still going to be Shotzi. It doesn't matter. So, realistically, whatever gun you put in someone's hands, maybe the best players get a few more kills. Maybe some mid-tier guys move up a little bit here and there. But I don't think it's make or breaking anyone's career. We're just trying to balance out the meta a little bit and make the maps a little bit more fair. The best way to do that is truly just to fix a sub. But if we start going down this path of we're not respecting GAs anymore and all that, this game is going to get a lot worse in the coming major. And we're going to see chaos ensue. And that's not what I want for us to watch.
I think that's going to be contrary.
If the sub's that good, so listen, if everyone complained about the ARs being too good, so they just GA them, right? Fair enough. But if the Jackal's this good, why don't we just GA the Jackal? But no, we've just got to GA some attachments on the Jackal because that's what we do over here. We don't GA an actual submachine gun. We just GA the attachments. Motherfuckers. I told you, divas. Let me be the GA commissioner. We're bringing back the Krig. We're bringing back the Model L. Then we'll see chaos ensure.
I think Trey's cooking a bit. Like, I look at the setup and I just think it's such a joke how this works every year. The fact that the Model L was banned 2 days into the game when it was patently obvious that the Jackal was going to be an excellent gun, I never understood. The thing I also find hilarious is that the Sorg was... I know that we never really used DLC guns, but the Sorg was added into the game, was clearly not as good as the Jackal, but the pros banned the Sorg, saying that, it's too good. 8 Sorgs on the map, Sorg's godlike, use a Sorg.
Shot pub players. Motherfucker shot pub players for 2 days with a Model L and go, nah, we got to get this gun. This thing right here. Fucking hell. This got to go. Yeah, I'm seeing 4 subs on a Hacienda motherfucking hardpoint and control. I'm seeing 4 Jackals on the map. But the AR's the issue. Let's just ban some attachment. Fucking asshole.
They just cry about it every day. I think this is the issue where, there actually does need to be a GA commissioner. It needs to be one AR commissioner, one sub commissioner, and then a non-biased commissioner like me.
A tiebreaker commissioner.
Yeah, a tiebreaker.
Just one guy, that's it. He's just there to hold it down.
Or the league just says, stop being bitches. We're not GAing some springs.
Yeah, Daniel say needs to
just bring back another AR.
Yeah, Lion isn't wrong. Look, at the end of the day, Scrappy's still 99 overall. It's not like the SMG's that godlike. I mean, it's good for sure. But also, it's been a while since we've had an SMG this good. My opinion is, and will always remain, these SMGs should not be as good as they are long range. They should be, BO2 was so good in many ways. You put dexterity on, you put quick draw on. Your MSMC was out of sprint immediately, and it was into ADS immediately, and it was godlike at close to medium
for the close range gunfights.
Absolutely. You were quicker, you were nimble. The ARs were sluggish. Even remember when you ran around with an AN-94 if you didn't have lightweight, it was You know, like you were you were taking your time, like not with the SMG. Like you know, you're rapid. Like that's how I used to be.
You were nimble.
Yeah, you were nimble. Exactly. Nowadays, do whatever the hell you want.
Like the Aussie player.
Screw up top mids. Like, I mean, what are we talking about here? Where you're running top mid on Hacienda and you're just squaring up in the window with your fucking
That's my goddamn point. And it's not the pros' fault, I will say this. It's the fucking game's fault. It's the game's fault. It's the developers' fault. It used to take skill to run a sub. The old men used to run the old men back in the day that work a 9 to 5. The plumbers, the engineers, the electricians with families of 4. They weren't running around with an SMG because they knew they weren't going to get nimble with it. Yeah, they were tucked in nicely at the back of their base with a G36C camping because it took skill to use an SMG. Nowadays, it don't matter how good or bad you are. Motherfucker, that thing just fries, it shreds, it goes everywhere. It was the same back in Cold War. It was the same in MW 2019. It don't take as much, nowhere near as much skill as it does to use an SMG as it does today.
100%. To me, again, the problem is just the range, man. If you fix the range, everything's solved. So SMGs are just they're bitching. That's it. End of the day. I don't care. It's in an AR world right now. You're in hell. Yeah, you got Celium and Scrap just being unbelievable and sure putting up some numbers, but again, I've proven it with the top 15. I showcased that compared to the last couple games. There's a clear imbalance with the Jackal, and it needs to be fixed. So, fix it.
I think the best meta we've ever had in COD Comp, and people are going to say, Black Ops 4, we had the ICR, the Malix, and the Sorg. No. AW. Ooh! A bow and an ASMC and a fucking 1-bullet sniper rifle. That's all you need in life. And then if you nade shot, maybe a, HBR, throw it in there, maybe, But, listen, AW, by far one of the most balanced and fun games in terms of gun balancing and wow, those were the days. I'd love to go back to that.
I actually think maybe a hot take, but I often was thinking when I was playing COD, what's my favorite gun I've ever used? There's a few that come to mind. For me, I think it is the ASM one. Just so satisfying. Iron sight's so clean. Sound is so good. I don't think you're necessarily wrong there that at least from a pro player's perspective, a lot of pros would say 2-weapon meta with a sniper and maybe a pistol. And that is good enough as long as they're balanced. I love the fact that the HBR was viable and you didn't have to run it with quick draw. You could run it just with stock. And the same was kind of true in other games as well. I like when there's a third option that you can use. So what I liked about Black Ops 2's meta is that, okay, it was an M8 MSMC fest, but if I like the Scorpion or if I like the MP7 or if I like the AN94, I could run it and I could get away with it. And when I use the sniper, I can put on the dual band or the thermal, or I can run, variable zoom, or I can use the FAL. Oh, I gotta stop.
You guys are taking those games. I still think pretty balanced meta was Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4, I think
once
Black Ops 4
the
had a pretty good meta.
Sorg had hit scan, it was good.
Yeah, yes. Towards the end of the game, you had multiple ARs, you had the SOG, you had a good balance of power ups and stuff. I think that game overall, viewership, not for viewers, player experience, satisfaction with kills, power ups, right? Everything in the game, all the little additions, right? All of that made that game so complete to me, where that meta just as a total and gunplay wise was the most fun.
Somewhat disagree because we ran double grip ICR.
Double grip ICR was a bit cheese.
Shit didn't move, did it?
It literally didn't move.
No. Listen,
you remember that gun from
double
Advanced Warfare? I think it was called the Pytech. It was an LMG. And
is that the one that you kept shooting? It got more accurate.
Yeah, after 10 bullets, it was pure laser, zero recoil. Good time.
That shit was fun as fuck.
Trey, I'm gonna throw it to you just to think about this, but do we need a burst gun back?
They tried this year, Trey. They said they tried.
You're going to get a burst gun back with the amount of divas we've got in the league, you've got another thing coming.
It has to be a 4-round burst, though.
imagine they re-release Black Ops 3 today. Like right now, this is what the pros are playing. Do you think the M8 would be banned?
Nah, no shot.
Probably.
What amazes me about Black Ops 3, right, is that the XR2, the 3-round burst gun.
That was my shit. Everyone, listen, you ask any pro rab, they'll say I was the best XR2 player in the world.
Like, I love that gun.
Because I banned the M8 so I could use that gun.
Yeah, but it was a good gun, right? But like, it was very balanced. Like, it was not better than the M8. But like, the thing is, nowadays, you look at the 3-round burst guns and you think they're probably too strong because they either absolutely melt immediately or they're kind of useless if you don't get the one burst. But for some reason, the XR2, I don't know if it was the way the recoil was, because it was a little bit circular on the recoil, like it was kind of difficult to one burst someone. That gun was like just so good. And also you could hold down the trigger and it would hit the burst again. Like, you didn't have to burst. You could just hold the trigger and it would auto burst. I mean, yeah, BO3 is always my favorite. Like,
so much potential, man. COD did so many great things in different eras with jetpacks, wall running, advanced movement on the ground, slides, crack aiming. So much positive development and things that I guess some people maybe didn't enjoy at the time. But now it seems like, again, we've bullied COD into making this cut and dry game that, again, we keep stripping things away and demanding we don't want this, we don't want that, we don't want this, we want that. We need to get back to some of the more fun elements. I'm full. I hope the next game, I think, has wall running and some sort of advanced movement.
That's what I say.
I'm excited for that at least. At least there's something to look forward to then. But for now, man, stop crying.
We're shocked.
Stop crying. Yeah, right now we're chalked. Right now we're chalked. The game is still fun to watch a little bit, but game development choice-wise, we're cooked. We're straight cooked.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Rostermania, here we go. We're going to start in challenges. Illey and Prolu, they blew it up. I don't know if you saw this. Wow. I'm not going to play this clip. You guys can find it in your own time. Feel free. But this is a pretty funny clip. Illey and Amloot getting into it. That's my bad, actually, Prolu. But
Amloot?
Amloot? Damn, son.
And that's my favorite.
Another narrative today.
That's my favorite nickname for him, unfortunately. But yeah, Illey and Prolute were going at it. They blew it up in challenges. I don't know if either of these guys are going to get a shot immediately. I think the conversation really here is around Illey because obviously Donny Temp last year, he went down to challenges. He grinded it out. He didn't get back in. Illey, the Major 1 post situation is over now. Obviously, we're looking at maybe the future. Like, I don't think Illey is like cooked. I think for sure he could get back in Yoda King, but it's not like 100% clear. Shout out Dean, by the way, for another 5. Yeah. Your thoughts on the aims compared to the MCW for Modern Warfare 3? I think the MCW is better.
MCW is definitely better.
You know what I still find crazy?
Oh, go ahead.
I know, I was going to say about the Pro Loot thing. Like, you know what I see? You know what's crazy to me is I actually felt like he had a pretty decent stint on OpTic.
Online, he was fine,
like,
to be honest.
Yeah, like, he actually had a pretty decent stint on OpTic, and I know he joined Las Vegas after that, but you would think, like, once you're on OpTic, and you don't, and you obviously don't shit the sheets horrendously, like, you might be good for, it might be good for a little couple more CDL teams, but he just weren't.
Be good for one, you know what I'm saying? You might be good for another one little stint there.
Yeah, but, like, it's like, if OpTic decide to play with you, you obviously got to be good in some aspect, all right? But he didn't get on a roster straight away after. And he's been fighting in the pit ever since his stint on Paris, which you join Paris, it's like the career ender anyway. Kind of crazy to me.
Something about if you haven't watched this clip, whoever's, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But it's very just not disturbing is the wrong word, but like, the way it blows up from nothing. Like, if you watch the first 20 seconds of the clip, you cannot expect what the last minute and 40 happens in the clip. Like, it's really you will never predict how this would happen out of context. So it's just, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Personality matters a lot. If you're not someone who can get along with people, you're not going to be in the league. You're just not going to be a guy who sticks around long. You have to be just a normal, calm, cool, collected, sociable guy that can kick it, can just hang out in a call and not blow up like this. Like this to me is some parasocial behavior. How this should happen. This shit to me seems so oddball. So that's kind of my Illey. On the other hand, again, some people are, if you're absurdly talented, yeah, you can go above the somewhat being a super social. You don't have to be a socialist guy, like the most social guy, if you're super talented. In this case, people are crashing out too often, and it's kind of it could be a make or break your career in challengers, literally crashing out or not, or being a normal person or not. Dead ass.
I think a lot of it is like challenges is full of like a lot of self-centered egos though.
Sure.
Like the way they speak to each other, the way they speak about other people, it's all egotistical. It's all trying to one up the next person. It all seems a little bit too self-centered for me. Like nothing seems genuine. And you could say the same for the league in that aspect. And a lot of people shit on people to get a spot. So, you know, I feel like I don't know. I feel like as a community and as like a challenger scene, it's got worse.
I think even if you take this example, right? If you took Shotzi and you made him you put him in challengers right now, right? You took Shotzi, just him as his personality, his character. You put that in challengers, he would never blow up at someone like this. This wouldn't be a possibility for a guy like that. Considering I know there's people in here who probably watch his streams every time he goes live. That guy wouldn't do something like this just because it's not in his character. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, he could talk as much shit as you want. He could be egotistical. He could be all this and that. Shotzi, after X amount of years and success in world championships, this year finally decided to talk a little bit of shit. But people for no reason to have egos, with no reason to call other people dog shit, people who don't know their place in COD are over here thinking they're God's gift to mankind and God's gift to the CDL and the scene. It's a little bit, you're a bit mistaken.
Well, Challengers sucks. And the CDL kind of condones Challengers being ass because they don't do anything to support it. Now,
I mean, they just put up $100,000 prize pool. Brother.
Yeah, but are they really supporting it though? Be honest.
$100,000 sound like support to me.
They're making that money in meme coins, as we discussed this before. Like the money isn't real.
Right. What's your definition of support though? Because you go to an event, the event's fucking ass. The Challenger event sucks. We've had it in basements, we've had it in car parks, we've had it in fucking top floor of the fucking Boston baseball stadium with the doors swinging wide open in the freezing fucking cold.
Doug said
Yo, boys, can we
got
put
his gloves on.
Yo, guys, can we put... Motherfuckers got gloves on playing fucking COD. Another thing with challenges, there's no team culture. There's nothing there. Even you even think your teammates are ass.
Yeah, it's a little weird. That is a bit
so
odd.
weird.
Yeah.
I do think the challenges system doesn't help. Like, I'm all for roasting challenger players, like when they crash out, because often they're crying about not getting a spot, and then they turn up and get a spot, and then they don't deliver, whatever. Like, fair enough. But I do, anyone who's committed to their craft in that way, like, I do respect the grind and the passion and the willingness to try and be the 1% that actually does make it and make the sacrifices that they're trying to make to achieve their goal. Like, I always respect that. And I do think on some level, the setup doesn't help. Like, okay, you put Shotzi in that situation, sure, he's approaching it a different way in these type of dynamics. But equally, I think that the fight of challenges, the pit as it's called, it does bring out the worst in people, is my opinion. Like, this is the kind of thing that you get when you're down in challenges, you're struggling to get a league spot, everyone's competing with each other, you're competing with your own teammates as well, is another point. No one's ever getting picked up as a straight up 4-man unit straight into the league. So, like, I understand why the crash outs happen. And I think, as Trey said, if Challengers was better supported and the ecosystem was a bit better, like, for example, in Valorant, it's not perfect by any means. But in Valorant, if you win challenges, you qualify for the Pro League. So you're incentivized to work with your teammates to improve as a team, not snake someone for no good reason, and that sort of stuff. Whereas in COD, all of those things are heavily incentivized if it helps you get a CDL spot.
Yeah, and one other part about that is like, kind of definitely going to what both of you said. They're teaming together, right? As soon as something flicks, like the lighter gets flicked, I feel like Illey had this thought about Prelude already in his head the entire time, but now is just the reason to say it, which is kind of sums up. Right. That kind of like sums up the entire interaction and how messed up Challengers is basically. So, yeah, I didn't like to see this. I didn't like this was public and that it was for everyone to see it. I kind of hated that, but yeah, I mean, it gives a real reflection of what Challengers is like. It fucking sucks. Like, dead ass, it's the worst shit.
I mean, another thing on it, like, you know, Ace, you know, I know all the players are grateful that they get the chance to play for a good amount of money. But let's not forget that 2 months ago, there wasn't even Challengers being at any of these tournaments.
True.
So, like, how much do it... And I'm not... The CDL don't care about Challengers. Challenger players don't care about Challengers. They're just playing in hopes that they can get a salary on a team, you know, to make their dream come true. But then you watch... You see how some of these Challenger teams move, and they change every weekend when they don't get a result. They you know... I've seen teams win a Challenger event or a Challenger series or a 2K, and then guess what? They've changed teams again.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Losing it.
Speaking of Challengers,
today's my crash out day. GAs,
I like that,
Challengers. Here's my crash out day.
It's a good crash out. Challengers adjacent team, Vegas Falcons. It's an important day on the show. We officially have a full-time member of the team back in business because Vegas Falcons today confirmed. Here is the original Arabic if you would like to read. I see Roxas, I see Wixel, I see Kicks. That's all I read. And I see Roxas out, Kicks in. Or the Kicks not in, crucially. Kicks not in. They say the following. Wixel will be moving into the starting lineup in place of Roxas as we continue striving to find the best roster with the players available to us. I like the way that they phrase that. With the players available to us. Because it sounds like
they couldn't just buy anyone they wanted to.
Yeah, it sounds to me like they're gearing up to drop the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, for now, with the players available to us, this is the best we can do. But soon enough, anyone's going to be available because we are dropping the hammer on the league.
It's been a very sad day for me. It's been very sad. I'm very happy Dopecheck has me back on this show, admittedly. But it's very sad. Team Talcott, they dropped me. They dropped me from the team. I fly back from Dallas, Texas yesterday. It's good to be here with everybody, but this team is fucking chalked if I want to say the real shit. It's fucking chalked. Overall, man, this is like the 10th roster change that we've seen.
Yo, can we get Hamza?
Yeah, can we? Yeah, get.
That's a good point, actually.
We gotta get some of these guys who are doing some good stuff in challenges. Get those guys in. Stop rotating the same players that aren't performing and aren't doing much for you. Get Glow Frosty in this, man.
Listen,
get Glow Frosty in this, bro.
I want to make a bold statement, and it ain't gonna happen until next year. But this is what I think is gonna happen.
Uh-oh.
Falcons are gonna keep Kicks because he's their best player. And he was actually killing it in the league, even though he was kill whoring. They're going to keep Kicks. He ain't going to come back next year. He ain't going to come back this year. But next year, Falcons drop the bag. They pick up a fucking super team, and they make Kicks their front runner as a Saudi Arabian player.
It's the gentlemates model.
Yeah. But with more money.
Oh, yeah. The gentlemates model is going so well for everybody involved, huh? It's going so fantastic, huh?
Well, yeah, but I said superstar team.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, realistically, that's not a bad prediction at all. Like, Falcons definitely they're like one of the only orgs with actual large sum first year CDL type money right now.
They got bread.
They have understatement, honestly. They have jewels. They don't have bread, they have jewels, bro.
They ain't on a keto diet, you know, worth the Central City. They ain't on a keto diet. They got bread.
They got a lot of bread, bro. So I think them getting a super team together in the next year or two, as soon as superstars become available, is probably what they're waiting to do. This is just their first year Heretics experiment that they're getting out of the way, giving these guys who've done a lot for them and brought them up. So, yeah, very soon. I think that prediction comes true.
Exactly, Sin. He said Kicks isn't as good as you guys think. Y'all just watch KD. No. When did we say that? He's their best player. Bear in mind, because he can fucking shoot straight. He's their best player. Would he need teaching how to play the game properly? Yeah. But with a player like his talent, you could easily teach him to be a very good player. And listen, I'm never wrong. So watch this space. I guarantee you, next year you're going to see Kicks with 3 American players. Watch.
Trey, you said you're never wrong. We'll see that in a little bit. Don't worry.
There was a clip, actually.
We already had a discussion.
There was a clip that came out on Xnid's stream, and it was in Arabic, so I don't think I have it anymore. But he was saying that Kicks could be back after Major 2. That's what he suggested. But obviously they said he could be back after Major 1. And he'd come back after Major 1. They say he's out.
Kicks is sat there on his $2 million contract. Just go, nah, I'll be right.
Yeah, I won't drop my stock. He's sitting at a nice little 1.19 KD. Better than...
There's only one man for the job to go find out what happened. Habibi man needs to go to Saudi Arabia and find out what happened to Kicks. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, boys.
Get the
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Me and Rab kind of got a little bit of scoop on it, but that's not for us to say, until something actually comes out about it. Listen, me and Rab are assholes. We really are, but we're not that bad of assholes.
Nah, I mean, we'll see how it goes with Kicks. I hope he's back soon. I think it's a bit doubtful. I mean, what do we think of this change? Wixel was in the team initially, and he was getting... I mean, he killed hard, respectfully. I think that's why
we might have to get Doom out.
But he can get kills. That is what he's got going for it. Whereas Roxas, he won't get him any kills.
How dare you?
I mean, we were begging for a Roxas player camp because my word, the places he was dying. I'm convinced. I am convinced. He was just running. No thought behind the eyes, just legging it. Just screaming to his team.
What I love about Roxas is like, if he was ever 15 and 15, you knew he was about to have a death streak. That's just my go right there. You just knew that it wasn't going to end like that. But personally, when they lost, he was really sad.
They're playing TDM, bro. They're playing ranked matches in a professional league, and that's... I know Clay is sitting there watching them play, hands in his head, can't even communicate with half the guys on the roster right now. Because Rox, I think, is the only guy
who speaks good English.
Rox, right? He was the only one who speaks pretty. He wasn't the only one, but he's the last remaining one that speaks very good English. So now, without him, it kind of, again, the disconnect between the guy who's expected to teach you Call of Duty, who has the most experience and definitely one of the greatest players to ever touch a controller, and a team that runs around like headless chickens. That's a big problem. That needs to be solved. Like, if they don't do anything to even kind of solve that problem, like getting a guy who speaks English like Low Frosty to come on and direct some traffic, you're never, like we said, you're not winning, bro. You're not winning a map. You're not winning a match, excuse me.
You know what's funny is we literally said, this Falcons team, like, just got to stick with the roster and just battle it out. They just fucking can't do it, can they?
They're making changes every other week. And the issue is that it's not going to help them get scrims, really. Other teams are looking at this and being like...
One thing's going to help them get better. We're trying to find the right formula. How about you fucking try and keep a team together longer than a week? How about that?
Yeah, they are just... go on.
I did get an update on the scrim stuff, though, by the way. They are getting scrims. So, they are getting scrims. The issue was...
Mashallah.
Close. You sounded like... that
was good, right? That was good.
Mashayla.
I didn't say that. I know what you're talking
just sounded like right there, bro.
Mashallah,
they got scrims. see, when you said it all serious like that, it was pretty good. Mashallah, brother. Very good, very good, very good. That was good. They got scrims, but at the major, people weren't trying to scrim them. That was the difference. They get scrims online once in a while. Like, they get them. They're normal. They're fine. But at the major, when it came crunch time, no one was trying to scrim them. That was the problem. So just a little clarification on that, little bomb that was dropped. It isn't all the time. So if you have any takes on that, it being specifically at an event, maybe Trey, do you think that it makes it better or worse or what?
Probably a bit worse.
Okay. All right. I was trying to help the situation. I made it worse.
It probably makes it worse because, they could get challenger scrims, or they could, back home they could get challenger scrims, or another team could go scrim a challenger team. At an event, every team has to practice, every team has to, get a set in or whatever like that. If no one's trying to scrim, I did hear on the first day that they had scrims when all the servers were down. Servers came back up. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to scrim OpTic, and they chalked it, so they scrimmed someone else. But you also got to understand as well that, like, waiting around that long during the day and then getting a scrim at like 8 p.m., I probably would have chalked it too. I'm not gonna lie. So it wouldn't even be anything to do with them. It would just be
it might be deeper than the surface, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that was a little update I got generally for that whole situation. It's not as bad as people think, and I know maybe some teams were getting some heat, but it's not as bad as I think. At least in my mind, it's not as bad. They're getting scrims now, basically.
All I'm saying is this team probably looked the best when King of Body was on the lineup. I'm thinking it might be time for the big man to return to the main stage to get his redemption. 0.72 KD right now. I think we can do better than that. He knows he can do better than that. It's just like they're making changes every week, man. What can you even say at this point? I guess the other question is, I know we've debated, are they going to win a series this year? What I want to know from you guys is, how many hard points are they going to win this year? Because they're currently 0-13, I think, in hard point. They've won 0 hard points. They'll continue to win some searches. I've no doubt about that. They won a controller phase. But in hard point, they've won 0 so far. Will they win 0 the whole year? Seems pretty doubtful to me.
No.
1.
1 hard point. Wow. I was expecting maybe 2 or 3. I don't know.
Listen, they are by far the worst hardpoint team in the game. They're not winning a hardpoint.
Dude, they're gonna. This is what it's gonna look like, dude. They're gonna.
They have to Neslo to win. Then you think
they're gonna win one. This is the game. 240, 245, 246, 47, 48, 49.
they can come back down.
Yeah, it's like they just won COD champs. It's gonna be like that when they win the one.
And then they get slammed 3-1.
Yeah, they're gonna lose the series still, but like it's gonna be like the celebration of all celebrations.
11-20
when they win that one.
He's done this.
11-20. So we go 0-1, 1-2, 2-3.
Okay, I mean we'll see what people are betting.
You're kind of tripping, Breaking Point. You're kind of tripping right now.
How good's 2020? Jumps. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
we're wilding on that one.
I'm gonna say they win like. I'm gonna say they win 3.
I have 1. So you have 3. Trey, what's yours? 0.
Trey has 0. I got 3.
Sheesh.
I mean, I just needed to take one a stage. One a stage. I'm including EWC. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe EWC doesn't count in this. Maybe it's just
EWC don't count in this one. They get a buff there.
Yeah,
their PCs are going to be working extra good in that venue.
You imagine if they turned up and
I sound like. Listen, I sound like. I know I sound like a horrendous hater right now, but oh my god, I just don't see him winning a series. I don't see him winning a hard point. In controls, they've beat FaZe in control, and fuck me. I thought FaZe were disbanding after that.
Yeah, S&D is their one chance. S&D is truly their one chance.
I think they might need to frame that and put that on the wall. Like, if I was Roxas or something, I'd have that scoreboard printed out. Falcons 3,
That'd be on my
FaZe 2,
resume.
Vault Control. I'd have that shit framed.
If I was Falcons, on the door of my practice facility would be a quote by Trey Zero saying, "You guys aren't gonna win this series all year." And every day I'm walking in, slapping it, getting on my setup, like I'm gonna prove this motherfucker
Get the
wrong.
darts
I'm gonna prove
out.
this motherfucker wrong. Yeah, literally.
Trayvon Cartier, the dartboard.
Yep. That would be my number one thing every day. I'm working hard because this guy said I'm not gonna win a single hard point or a series. Oh, son. They gotta break this, but I think they win one. Who it's gonna be against? If I had to predict, I'm gonna predict it too. If it had to be against one team, they're gonna win a hard point against Boston Breach.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I said 3, so yep. I'll say they win one against C9.
Yeah.
I listen. As soon as you even decided to take that extra beat of a pause there, I knew what was happening. It's all good, man. All good.
Ace has even got a Card9 top on today. Luke says if a team loses to Falcons, do they blow it up? I mean, like, you gotta think, can't you, Trey?
This is a Life Rip shirt. Shout out Chris D'Elia.
You gotta think if you've gotta think.
Can we give them Wolves for a series? Is crazy for Will. Turn on like the fucking the Codcaster outline. See if they can win. See if they can beat FaZe. All right, let's go on to Fellow. He says he signed a contract, but I don't know.
Obviously, it's bait. This is the most these tweets, the most bait tweets of all time.
I know, this is what they do. The only thing we know for sure is that Hicksy's gone. It's official. He's out of Surge. They decided to get rid of him, make a change. Yeah, tough for Hicksy. I know that he was talking about it on Twitter, kind of saying how he, I'm the first to admit, didn't play well enough. Thanks to anyone who showed support. Anyone hating can suck my dick. I'll be back. So I respect it, you know.
How bad did he want to write, "I got my fire lit up"? But he remembered Trey's saying, when he saw Trey's clip saying, "Anyone who says this."
To be fair, he's got the fire now. He's playing NA challenges. The fire is back.
Yeah, the fire is back, baby. Just took getting dropped and dropping a 0.7. That's what it took, man.
I need Roxas to tweet out that the fire is back.
Well, listen, you know, I saw some things. I saw some things that they were supposed to pick up Afro or Neptune, and then Huke gets put on the market as a free agent, and now Afro and Neptune aren't getting picked up.
Oh, well. That is very interesting. Afro for sure isn't getting picked up because he did a tweet saying back to the grind or something. Hicksy, by the way, has gone to the Omit team, so it's Illey, Johnny, Hicksy, and Super after Illey and ProLoop blew it up. So Super's over there for now until Heretics decide that they want him, which they probably will at some point, but obviously they did well at the major, so good work out of him. But yeah, it was a bit interesting, right? So Ronnie tweeted this out the other day. Vancouver Surge are signing Neptune. This was after, obviously, the Huke thing happens, and he was available on the market. So they reckon that Neptune's the man that's getting signed. And to be fair, the main Omit team, I think they've changed their roster with no Neptune, I think. But I'm not 100% sure what their team is going to be actually right now. So Ronnie said it's going to be Neptune. Now, there was a bit of drama here because a boozer was in the replies saying, "What the fuck are you saying, brother?" Because I think what he was maybe annoyed about is that he appears to list the players like in an order of like, you know, good or importance or whatever. I don't think Ronnie was listing them. He wasn't ordering them. He was merely listing them. But so the latest word is that it's going to be Neptune. But obviously people were very much speculating that when Huke was available, you can't turn down Huke because if you're picking Neptune over Huke, are you not just getting like B-Tech Huke? But I'm not sure that's necessarily true at the moment. But, you know, I don't know what you think, Trey.
Either Huke didn't want to go there, or they were just deciding on Neptune.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Capsador's back. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, so Cap's in for Neptune. I'm 90% sure.
If I'm Huke, I'm not going back to Surge.
I'm gonna say if I'm Huke, I just on the biggest stage with one of the biggest teams with the major he's had, I'm shopping myself out maybe for something bigger potentially than that, because that team is good. They could be good. Again, I have high hopes for that team. I like their foundation, and I think in time they're going to come together and mesh well and be scary. But as of right now, with what Huke did, you know, he had the best KD wise, his best performance in Major 1, and has been a standout player across the major, even online. He should keep his options open, and I think there's a better landing spot for him than Surge at this time. So it makes sense.
I mean, you've got to think Rambo's got a part to play in this a little bit, because Rambo is not the biggest fan of. He didn't seem to be the biggest fan of Huke. So, but is Neptune a massively dissimilar player to Huke in some respects? Maybe not. 04 was even tweeting as soon as Huke was on the market. 04 was tweeting back with my duo type shit, And then people are saying, oh, maybe 04 are boozer Huke and Illey. Run it back with last year, but minus Brezzy plus Illey. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know if I still like it, but it's something to think about anyway. 04 at least implied that that's what he wanted to happen. But it doesn't seem like it's necessarily going to happen. So, yeah, I guess if you're Huke, you could consider holding out for the better opportunity. I think maybe it will come along. I think a team like Toronto people were talking about, but I just don't see them making a change yet. I mean, they even went into some scrims the other day against the Assault Illey Challengers team, and they absolutely fried them. So I don't think Toronto are going to change anything with their team. I think they know that they're better than what they placed. And then what else are you looking at? Rocker aren't going to really make a move in the SMG category. Maybe Cloud9 are an option at some point. But yeah, it's an interesting decision.
Yeah, I think he's in a good position in the sense that his value or his current stock is high. Like, very clearly, I think after getting dropped last year, his stock was at a pretty bad low. Him coming back in and making the impact he did over this course puts him in a spot where I think he knows he's valuable. Even if he sits out a major here, honestly, even if he doesn't play challengers, I still think eventually Huke will get picked up. Whether it's the middle of Major 2 or by the end of Major 2, I think Huke definitely finds a home and somewhere where he can contribute big time and is going to make a big impact. Because in this game, he's unequivocally disgusting.
Any thoughts, Trey?
Nah, I said what I gotta said. It's always shout out on the show though. They are one of the only orgs that I can really give a lot of praise to for keep supplying, keep supporting challenges the way they do. Shout out Rafi, the owner of Omit. Or Omit, should I say? I always get it mixed up.
I got roasted for that one time, so I tried to lock it.
Just know it's all love over here. We fuck with you guys heavy. And yeah, keep supporting challenges the way you do. You guys are going to get your spot in the league whenever you want it. So
that's what I'm saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. So to get to this position, something had to give. And the thing that gave was this tweet that dropped on the timeline on the 6th of February at 9:04 p.m. Must say, I put my second video of the day live at 9 o'clock, and they decided that they were going to tweet this out at 4 minutes past 9. But all good, it's all good. Still got 90k views on the video, did now later, so, run it up. But OpTic put this out there. And this obviously, a silhouette in a shadow. I don't know who this looks like. Obviously, we know that he was going to be back in Texas anyway. People were talking about it. People were saying that he's going to be there for the ring ceremony. They're going to dish out the rings. And in my head, I'm thinking all right, I'm Huke. I'm on the roster. I'm standing on the sidelines watching Kenny, Shotzi, Dashi, and then PRED walk up. I don't know how they're going to do this ring ceremony, right? But obviously Hex wants to make it a big thing. Walk up and collect their rings on the main stage. The crowd's cheering. And that's the team, right? But Huke's, I don't know, it would feel a bit strange. But people saw this initially and people weren't really sure what was happening. It's is PRED back for good? Is he just back for the ring ceremony? Like, is he coming? Because he'd already said on stream that he was going to be in Dallas for the next major. And then they, dropped the follow-up tweet where they made it very official when they said, Huke's out of here. Thank you, Huke, for your dedication and passion playing for OpTic. We appreciate you always. Best of luck. It's happened again. Huke's been dropped for PRED again. And it happened like last year, basically. And it's happened again now. PRED obviously makes it official yesterday. I don't 100% know what the plan is for him to get back to the States, but I think that he's probably flying in today or tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. OpTic are probably going to not have the practice that they potentially would have wanted to have. But it's a pretty mind-blowing timeline, Ace, right? I mean, like, obviously we talked about PRED, dropped from OpTic. We discussed the reasons why this is potentially the case. Many of us, including myself, are saying, well, hang on a second, like, if PRED's well enough and it's all okay to return now, then, why do they have to mess around with this whole saga back in December? And many OpTic fans are in the same boat. They're like, well, why was this whole thing necessary if you're going to get PRED back anyway? But I think it's good for the scene at the end of the day. PRED being back in the team, good to have a guy with this level of personality and skill. Didn't want him to be sidelined the whole year. I didn't think he was coming back to OpTic based on what was done. Ace did, and he's put the glasses on. So I'm going to let him cook. We're going to just move into a little different graphic here. Unfortunately, Trey's in the hot seat for today. The graphic is great, but unfortunately, like the transparency isn't there, so we're just going to run it like this for now. But you guys see what we're cooking up here. So yeah, Trey's on the big screen. I'm just going to let Ace say what he wants to say.
Boy, oh boy, yeah? It feels like a rootin' tootin' day in Texas, huh? Yeah, dumbass said that this was not possible, huh, Mr. Trey Zero? You remember when you said it wasn't going to happen? I said to all my buckaroos, you know what I said? That man LePred was going to yeehaw his ass back on this team. As soon as they didn't do good at Major 1, they were going to make a call, hey, Australian man, come lift us back to victory. And that's exactly what happened. I couldn't say it better than this. They need their Lord and Savior, and he happens to be down jumping with kangaroos, boy. Do you understand? OpTic got over the hump because of a man like this. It's been years since we've seen a rookie and a man come into this league and make such an impact and become a top 5 player off bat. Do you understand me now, Mr. Trey Zero? Do you understand that when you have one of the greatest players sitting on the sidelines, that he has free will to come back into the league on any single team he wants?
Oh,
do you understand now? Do you get it? Do you see the picture? 27,000 goddamn likes on that thing. The people love it. The people love it. OpTic's, dude, that whoever OpTic's creative director has been sitting in a basement, locked in there with that graphic of him in a silhouette, waiting with that tweet button, just sitting there, ready to click it. You understand me?
Oh,
good
this
job,
guy
Huke.
just says words, man. He just says words.
I appreciate you, Huke. You did a good job. Enjoy your time on whatever team you're going to be. But we got chips to win, baby. This is OpTic Texas. Oh. Go ahead, Trey.
Any response, Trey?
So, Rab, don't you think it's pretty crazy that PRED comes back and Shotzi's like, I'm not going to be streaming for a while?
He did say that.
He said, I'm not going to be streaming for a while. I'm not trying to instigate here, but doesn't sound like everyone's too on board.
Doesn't sound like Shotzi wants to face the media.
Doesn't sound like he wants to.
I don't know about being on board. I think it's more he just doesn't want people just berating him while he's streaming.
But he didn't mind it when they dropped Pred.
I mean, he went through it once. Why do you want to go through it again? Why?
But he didn't
went
care.
Through, he definitely cared. You saw on his face. He definitely cared. Bro, he dropped the guy he just won a chip with. What are you talking about? How would you not care? What do you mean?
Okay, we're going back to the normal outlook, but all good for the hot seat. It was a good little session.
Wait, before you take him off the hot seat. Wait,
Okay,
Rab,
no, you
Rab
can
didn't
say,
say
you
a
can
damn
say.
word. You saw it. Talking about Trey, you saw that.
Oh,
You
I've
saw
got to
Rab
roast
trying
Trey
do
as well?
Yeah, you gotta make sure. Well, you kind of
What do
said
you mean?
that.
Rab was with me.
That's kind of true. It's got to be just me right now.
Listen,
The rest of both these
listen,
guys
I will
are
say
empty.
this. I will say this. I'm happy AG's back. I don't know what happened with the situation. But you know, I had this discussion with. I think did we have it off stream, Rab? When it happened,
Possibly.
I think so. When it dropped or something like that, and then I don't know. It seems like a weird situation. I don't know, you know, from how it started to how we got back to this. I don't know how it's going to affect the team. I don't know if they're going to go back to their best. But it does make sense that they bring him back because they literally just won champs. But I still don't know how it... I'm going to have to see how they play to see how they all, like, you know, see where the chemistry's at and stuff like that. Because before Pred went, Shotzi said they had ass practice. And then Huke joined and it was great practice. And then, you know, Huke was still in the team and I'm pretty sure Shotzi said the practice had been the greatest again. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. So I'm glad he's back though. And, you know, we're going to have to see how they play, especially at the Major 2, which hopefully I think we're there.
Oh yeah, don't worry about that. We will be there.
We will be there. Okay.
Can someone tell me what match was it when they dropped AG? Do we know against who they played that he got dropped after? Was it Boston Breach, Cloud9,
I thought they
Vancouver?
beat Boston. Maybe it was a Cloud9 one. It was their fourth series.
I can have a look real quick.
It was Gentlemates, right? Fourth series.
I thought they beat Cloud9. It was at the end of the weekend anyway. Like they played maybe Cloud9 on a Sunday. They beat Boston, then they beat Cloud9.
No,
They lost to
They lost to Boston.
They lost to Boston. They beat
Cloud9.
Cloud9. Then I think they dropped him. Maybe I'm wrong.
So it was only 2 series. Only 2 series that he played?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Well, it was the 14th of December, 13th, 14th of December, I think.
They played Cloud9 1-3-0 with
Pred.
AG.
Yeah, and then
He
he
had a
was gone, I think.
1.26.
Yeah.
And then he was dropped straight after. And then they played Seattle.
Okay. So, I mean, doesn't really tell you much because they only played 1 weekend. I was trying to see maybe if you can see if like Kenny or him, the impact they're having. But you can't say that Pred and Shotzi together in that first week were looking unreal. Slayer rating for Shotzi was 108. I know it's the only first week of the game, but I want to just extrapolate that. I don't think there was any uncomfortability. You question whether with Pred back in the lineup, will they be, what will the chemistry be like? I mean, honestly, I think the better question is how much better will the chemistry be? I don't think the question is what is it, you know?
Well, that's my thing is like we don't necessarily know why he was dropped just straight off a 3-0. So him being dropped and coming back, clearly there was something there and maybe it's all ironed out now and that's what we'll have to see. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. I mean, I'm going to say too, like, whatever the reason is, whatever's breaking down, I think with how dramatic it was, you know, we were there reporting it the day, you know, on the show and figuring out and trying to boil down every single angle we could. But if they're at a point now where from the amount of backlash that OpTic got for the move itself, for them to do this, you know, a couple months later, it has to be a big change. It had to be something where everyone made a decision, felt comfortable, and I'm sure even Hex had to get involved and make sure he approved it and make sure everything was good. Because organizationally, I think we can all agree on this. Everyone in chat can agree on this. OpTic take their brand image very seriously. So something like this is not going to be taken lightly, which is why I believe that I firmly stand on that. I think OpTic are going to be a lot stronger, look a lot better, look a lot happier in the cams. Their vibes are going to be high. And with, the energy level is going to be something else. Huke has never been a guy to bring you high energy. He's been a guy he's the cerebral assassin. We saw him come on stage looking like the most menacing Reaper of all time, but he doesn't look like Mr. Energy, right? There's something about PRED that can't be, it's one of those intangibles, right? So those things that you couldn't make a stat for necessarily. It's just how he comes in, the energy he brings, the confidence he puts in his teammates, the confidence he has in himself, and that resonates in that kind of camp. So him being there is going to be absolutely massive for OpTic, and I think this is exactly what they need to be refreshed after such a bad loss in Major 1, an embarrassment, honestly, and come in this way with some refreshed energy, with a guy you feel really comfortable with sitting next to you. OpTic, if I'm playing OpTic, if I'm going against OpTic this entire major and I'm OpTic as a team, I'm concerned for every other team in the league right now.
I just want to set this straight right now. This was not a business move by OpTic, a PR stunt to drop him and then bring him back up the major. It wasn't a business move. It wasn't a PR move. They didn't drop PRED to pick him back up and give him a different contract.
Unless I'm pulling the strings or something in that OpTic camp.
Because
get me views.
Let's be real. We there was rumors in the off season. They got told to have different contracts. Ace, if we all remember that rightly, they got told to renegotiate contracts to have a lower salary, and I'm pretty sure they all did. So they didn't drop PRED to give him a different contract or anything like that. It wasn't a PR stunt. Something did happen, but now they're back, and everyone's happy. And we're gonna see how they play. GG Clips did say PRED's bringing his mum with him this time. Is that? And I don't know if that's to come to. Apparently, he said it on stream. I don't know whether that's to live with him permanently out there or just to come out there for a little bit. But I think that says a lot as well. If he wants his mum to come back out there, that he might just need that extra support from a family member being out there to cope playing overseas and playing for OpTic and the pressure and stuff like that. So it's cool to see.
I think it aligns with the point that I was just about to make, right? Like, there's a lot of different angles to this, and we'll get into them in the coming minutes. What I think is quite important for PRED is that this might be a kind of Dashy turning point for him. Dashy was dropped from OpTic. He recognized when he was on the bench that he'd not been the perfect teammate all the time. Scump then retired. He says to Dashy in his retirement speech, hey, you're the man who needs to take over, take the team to the next level. I think whatever happened with PRED, he will have gone back and he will have reflected on some of the decisions that he's made. And clearly the team environment wasn't what it should have been, and the practice wasn't as good as it could have been, certainly after they won the World Championship. And he mentioned it in this clip, right? Like, he loves those guys. He missed playing with those guys. And I'm sure that PRED will have had a good time to reflect at home and say, okay, I need to make sure that I don't lose this opportunity again. And because this is, let's be honest here, like, if it goes wrong for PRED again with whatever happened in December that we're not fully sure of, but clearly there was a good enough reason that he was basically just, whitewashed out of the entire organization for a couple of weeks. He's got this opportunity to return, which I think he will feel very grateful for. And he will know that if he messes it up this time in whatever way that might potentially be, it's probably not ever happening again, and there's no better opportunity in the Call of Duty esports world than exactly where he is now. So I think it's probably, I would hope so anyway, and with his mum coming along, I think it implies that as well, if that is true, going to be a really good thing for PRED, his mentality, and his ability to get the best out of himself and his teammates, because we know how good this guy is, and many players, great players across many different sports, they struggle with various things throughout their career. And the fact that OpTic have gone through this period, they've allowed him to come back into the team, because it was only a couple of weeks ago when Shotzi was saying that it ain't happening. So, a call was made, and I'm sure there were pull factors, and I'm sure there were push factors, but I'm in agreement, I think, that with whatever was happening behind the scenes, if they'd have stuck it out with this roster and let everything behind the scenes continue to fester, it probably would have ended, in tears. Obviously, it kind of did. But I think bringing PRED back is realistically the only way, given the way that the team was looking, that gives themselves a chance of really trying to go back-to-back and hit the two-peat this season at the World Championship.
I think it's the only proven way. They don't need to go out and sign a new player. They already had the formula. Whatever happened in that time period to him being, like you said, whitewashed, blacklisted, extradited, out of the organization, whatever has happened, he's back. Shotzi did go on stream, or not on stream, but he did type in someone's chat saying that he didn't make this decision, or something along those lines. And that's when I was saying, like,
he didn't. It wasn't like only him. He's not the warlord, quote unquote. Like that's the whole thing right now.
And I think, like I said, whatever's happened, whatever we spoke about in the show, whatever we had thought, whatever was said, like Shotzi even said, like, yeah, he's not coming back. Just shut up, forget about it. He's back. So
now I want to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say Shotzi saying that, whether it was true then or whether he, whether he was just, saying it to say it, he's back. And Pred's needed for the league. He's exciting to watch. He's just won champs, and it's good for OpTic.
He also, in that clip, he looks good. I mean, I want to say, like, we don't know. We're very, like, whatever was whitewashed, whatever happened. He looks good in the clip. He looks healthy. He doesn't, visually, he looks, Pred's a handsome guy. He looks handsome. He looks good. He's sitting there in his OpTic jersey, like, ready to go. So I think that's going to be the perfect kind of spark. Not only did his dream get pulled from him, and now he's coming back into it with a different appreciation. This team also lost, one of their hearts and souls, main components of the team, and had to go and get embarrassed at a major. There's a lot of reinvigoration of spirit, of energy, of passion for the game, for Call of Duty, and to come back and be winners. So I'm really excited to see these guys back together, and for this major too. It's probably the best, I mean, without a doubt, the best storyline going into this entire major and in Call of Duty right now.
The next question really is, as you guys have touched on, okay, who instigated this move, right? Like, who picked up the phone? Was it the Warlord? Because, well, Formal was mentioned in this on stream. We've got a Formal clip to share. I did want to talk about Huke as well and kind of what's next for him in a second here, but we're going to talk about Kenny as well. There's a couple of interesting clips I've got to play around with. But yeah, I'll just share this clip, 20 seconds here of Formal on stream, talking about why this happens, who on OpTic made the call, and whether this is actually what happens or whether Formal's just saying things.
And when I was talking to Brandon, he was saying that, like, Fred texted Shotzi after they lost or whatever, and I was like, "Are you guys gonna join again?" And he was like, "I don't know." I think his words were, "Shotzi runs this shit. I don't really know." I think it was Shotzi's choice. It is cool that he's back though. I remember being at Content like 2 days ago, and
so Formal says he was at Content. He talked to Dashi. Dashi said that Pred texted Shotzi after they lost, and Shotzi made the call. Now, okay, is this what happened or not? Because Shotzi then came out and said that's not how it went down. And he was in a Twitch chat, and Shotzi said the following: that thing where I made the move needs to stop. That's not how it was. That shit's cringe. So, yeah, you guys can pretty much see that on the screen. That's what Shotzi was saying in the Twitch chat. So, okay, look, at the end of the day, these decisions are always team decisions. Pred isn't going to say no, so that's easy enough. It then comes down to who decided to instigate this move and whether it was more widespread than we thought, maybe. Because as you said, Ace, at least in my opinion, watching those guys on the main stage at Madrid, there was not the same energy and vibe in that team as there had been before. Like, you watch them on the stage, they didn't look the same energetic unit they were before. Kenny, was he laughing and joking on the main stage like he normally is? Not as far as I'm concerned. So I think the team dynamic with Huke was different. Obviously, Huke's a different player than Pred. He has a different style. He has different strengths and different weaknesses. He's a very different personality on the team compared to what Pred was with the roster. So I think inevitably that was going to cause a bit of friction. And if Pred was completely out of the picture, like there was no way they could get him back, maybe they work it out with Huke. But I think my feeling is that from, I don't know, midway through the stage maybe, even though they're playing quite well, but you know, they weren't always looking that good online. Huke had his moments. They went to land, they got slammed. Like, my feeling is that OpTic were thinking, even probably before the major, that if this don't work out, we can probably just try and get Pred back. Huke isn't really fitting the way that we want to play the game and the perfect environment. They maybe could have made it work if they really wanted to, but they had Pred as the backup option there. Is it Shotzi got on the phone? I don't think it's so clear. Does Shotzi have the primary say in what happens? I think yes. Does Hex also have a say? I think yes. Does Kenny and Pred also have it, or Kenny and Dashi also have a say? Yeah, I honestly think to some degree Dashi just sits back and watches what happens nowadays. Like, I don't think Dashi wants to get too involved with it. Bentley says Kenny couldn't laugh because he was going double or triple negative every map, which may be fair as well. So
That's fucked up.
so what do you think about it, Ace? Like, how did we get to this point?
Okay, so any team that I've witnessed, observed in 7-8 years of being around COD players and going to events and everything else, like, there's almost never one guy who's really making the choice. It's never happening. Can you guys hear that in the background?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not horrific, to be fair.
It's not like crazy. It's just every time you talk, it's like picking it up. I was like, what's going on outside?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's happening outside. But essentially, my point is, the team is making the choice, man. It's not a solo. You can never think it's a solo man. Yeah, maybe Shotzi's his first point of contact. Maybe they're the one texting back and forth because maybe they're friends like that. You know, someone's going to be the guy you talk to. You're not going to be group chatting everyone and necessarily boys with everyone on the team or whatever the case may be. So I can understand that, but there's no way Shotzi didn't come back to the rest of the boys, you know, Hex, Dashi, Kenny, and all this, and really determine what are we going to do here. Ant is not OpTic. He's obviously important. He's obviously an important piece. He's obviously, you know, the top dog outside of Scump, but he's not the guy who can come in there and be like, yeah, boys, sit down, sit back, shut up. I'm choosing this. This is what we're doing today in scrims. You know, there's a coach too. JP's there. Karma's there. Like, there's no way. It's not possible for it to go down the way that it's being structured here. And I feel bad for it. I feel bad that this is what he's dealing with. And somehow this decision is going, you know, get all on his back for some reason. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. It's like actually ridiculous.
They stole your Bentley, bro. Rip.
No, it's good. We got bodyguard. We got security. We're fine.
What do you think, Trey?
I think that no one is running any team in the league. I think everything is team-based. You have to go through management. You have to go through the, you know, let's say Hydra wants scrap drop tomorrow. They ain't going to do that. You know, no one's running the team. Now, if Scrap and Hydra wanted Envoy dropped or someone else, it might be a little bit of might be a conversation. But I don't think Shotzi can just walk into the office and go, I don't give a fuck what you say, Dash, or so, Ken. We're getting Pred back. I don't give a fuck what you say, either JP, Karma. Hey, Hector, I don't give a fuck. We're bringing him back. I don't think that's what happens. I don't think that's how it works. Hey, Rabbi, looking good in that video, though.
I'm looking good in this video, too, fair. Look at your boy. Oh, I'm not going to play that. That is loud as hell. What an evening. I saw Don Dada in the background. Here he is. Is that Zinni? No, Zinni. Good.
That was the champs after party, right?
That was, yeah. This is the
yes, indeed.
This is the downtown Dallas.
Hey, I didn't go to that.
I know. I heard you having a good night though.
Oh, I had a great night.
I heard you having a great time. You know, always a good time.
Night. I had a great night. I made the executive decision to have a night in.
Yeah, have a little night in. That's a good workout of you, Trey. But yeah, okay. I think you guys aren't wrong. Before we discuss Kenny, I want to say a little bit on Huke because you got to feel bad for Huke on some level. Like, my opinion generally is, and I kind of wanted to take the angle of, oh, it's so bad for Huke. Like, I can't believe OpTic have done this. But, like, you know, I'm a businessman, and this is business. And at the end of the day, Huke came in, and in some respect, everyone's better off. Because Huke's stock has gone up. Like, he should be in a better position to get signed elsewhere now. Even if he wasn't maybe the perfect teammate that OpTic wanted at the end of the day. However Huke played at the major, and he played the best pure KD perspective of the guys, Pred coming back in is always going to be like, oh, they're putting back the team that won the world championship, however well Huke played. So Huke's stock in some respects has gone up. he went from challengers to being in the conversation to go potentially anywhere. But I still feel like teams kind of know what Huke is as a player, and that he's a bit of an enigma. Kind of tough to say what you're going to get from him from a personality and from like an effectiveness playstyle perspective. But equally, he's Shotzi's boy, right? They've been boys for a long time. I find it funny how the fans complain about the Friendship League being, friendship cheese. And then when Shotzi drops Huke on his neck, it's like, oh, I can't believe that Shotzi would do that to his boy. It's like, well, kind of both ways. And this is business, and it's the decision that OpTic wanted to make. In my opinion, it's fair enough. I don't know, there's some concern of the community that maybe Huke could have known it was coming or something. Like, if I go to Huke's profile, he's still an OpTic affiliate, which is what, let's not forget, right? When PRED was dropped, he was gone immediately. Like, he was he was blacklisted, no affiliate badge, nothing like that. Huke is still, as it stands, OpTic Huke. Like, but they've let him go. Like, he's not there anymore. He's not on the bench or anything. Like, they've, said, thank you, we appreciate you, thanks, Huke. Like, he's gone, there's no doubt. But he's not tweeted about it. He's not said anything about it. He's not said thanks for his time on OpTic. Like, so it's just one of the reasons why I think that maybe Shotzi wanted a couple of days off, is because he's kind of, Shotzi was obviously involved in the decision making, and Shotzi's got to kind of cope with the fact internally that Huke was dropped for PRED going into MW3. They brought Huke back, and they've dropped him for PRED again, and it's tough. It's tough to do that to a good friend, I imagine. And I don't know how Huke feels about it as well, because maybe he thought that this was his chance for the long haul. I know in the back of Huke's mind, he probably would have thought that this was a possibility. But it's still pretty tough, on a human level, I do get it.
I think he knew it was coming, though. I mean, if you don't win.
Yeah, after losing in Madrid, I would assume he knew it. Yeah, like he knew that was. I think that's what I've been saying. I said again.
I think
any team that didn't perform well in Major 1, any top team, even if OpTic won Major 1, somebody on a major team, on a top 4 team, was gonna get screwed over by PRED being on the sidelines. This was my entire take the entire time, and I was called faded, dumb, ace bad takes. Wow, guys, get him off the show. All this dumb shit. All y'all are brain dead and don't know COD. You don't understand how the scene works. The guy's the best, top 5 player of all time. Literally, like all time, not all time, excuse me, in the league. Top 5 player of the league currently. Okay? Top five player in the last few years. We'll put it like that. My bad all that one. Yeah, I would have been, honestly. So, yeah, if a guy like that's sitting and you don't perform, you're not in the top 3 or top 4 of that tournament, and you're expected to be, yeah, your job is in jeopardy, and it should be. So, Huke, in this case, he was the odd man out, and that sucks, but he'll be in a good spot. Like, he'll be in a good spot eventually. He's a good player, man. He's a like we're seeing right now, multi-FPS champion, CDL world champion. He's gonna be fine, man.
Hey, you know what I think would be pretty sick?
What?
If he joined Envy for the rest of the year.
That would be
and
fire.
Just stayed in challenges. I know that sounds like sucky, but imagine that. He joins Envy, signs a like multi-year deal with him like he did before, runs challenges with the Envy boys. Boom, CDL next year with Envy.
Did they announce an Envy Challengers team?
Nah, but I'm just saying, like, you know.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Huke comes back to his bread and butter. Kind of fire, right?
It should be kind of fire. If they actually bring it back, I would love to see it. It would be a great story. I mean, to me, that's how it should be. Like, Huke should be on Envy. That's how it's been. It's how it was in Halo. It's how it was in COD. It just works. Hastra and Huke are boys. Like, it was the case all the time. And Hastro let him go on that loan contract out there to Splice for the year or so. And then, they got him back, and he brought Shotzi along with him and all that.
He's also in Texas.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. Dallas Empire, run it back.
Maybe it's time for a little meeting,
Hey, Hastro, chalk the CDL. Huke, chalk the CDL for the rest of the year. You get back on Envy. You get the aura back. You just fucking smash challenges with the Envy logo. We're back for next year. I'll be your coach. Lock it in.
3 mil over 3.
The money in challenges is also very good. If you make a super squad in challenges, you could make a fat bag this year.
You probably make more money than coming top 6 in the league.
Andy would only have to pay Huke because fuck those other guys.
Shout out
You know what
Titan
I'm
Fighter
saying?
though with the $2. What happens if Pred is back and the magic is gone? Well.
Ooh,
We will
devil's
get into
advocate.
that a little bit. I think the next thing I wanted to say was on Kenny. This is my other clip of the day. So Kenny turns a stream on the other day, and he decides that he's going to talk about the matches and the way that they lost. And again, it's one of these things where the player, or again, a lot of the community says, hey, we want transparency. We want the players to be open with us about how things are happens. And then a player is transparent and people say, oh, I can't believe Kenny said this. I can't believe Kenny said that. So you can't win. You know, it is what it is. But I ain't complaining. It's very entertaining. I'll just want to share, maybe I'll play, you know, about a minute and a half of this here from Kenny, because he's talking about a specific moment I think he's talking about them. Yeah, this is the moment here on the skyline and some of the decisions that his teammates are making in this moment. Now, people are going to say, Ken, win a damn gunfight, you know, hit some shots. Maybe that'd help. And obviously people are going to say, and I get it, that he wasn't exactly talking in great depth about going on a 16 death streak. He wasn't exactly talking in great depth about going 2-21 to close out the game. He wasn't talking in great detail about whying the crucial gunfight against Renko for the loss. But he was talking about these type of moments. And I get it, it's human nature, you know, to try and brush over your own mistakes and talk about others' mistakes. But on some level, many of us saw this and said that, you know, he's trying to explain and justify why they've made the decision to get rid of Huke. That's how I read it. That may be fair. That may not be fair, depending on your perspectives. Let me play this for a couple of minutes here.
Right here, boom. I chow this shit. So I shoot this guy. I don't know how to kill this guy. He's one shot. I kill this guy. So in this moment, I said one shot top middle. I see my teammates here. Right? So I look, I can tell they're here because of how the comps are happening. So when I'm calling this guy one shot top middle, I only hold the right angle. Why? Because I'm thinking if he chows my left, there's no way in hell my teammates don't shoot them in the side. So you can tell how my my comm is like I got kind of high pitched because I'm like, what the fuck, hello? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I want to say. Like, what the fuck, hello? He's right there. But it's like, if you listen to it, Brandon calls that there's 2 at old, so then both of them, both Ann and Kyla, both react to that comp. You see what I'm saying? So then people are like, oh, Ken's his ass. He just lost a gunfight, but I'm expecting me to have help. Like if my teammate responded and said, Ken, that's all you. That's your gunfight. That's all you had to win. That's your one. Then I play it completely differently. Then I know I cannot get myself shit timing and play off a snap. But I'm playing off this to shoot him on the side and he chows my teammate.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for that one. There are a few other similar clips when he was explaining different moments, his thinking, his thought process. And it was only one specific instance of a very, very long stream. But still, I'll give it to you, Trey, just to hear your thoughts on this, because I know that people are going to say that team drama's happened, a certain player's been dropped. It doesn't necessarily need to, you know, be aired out on a stream. But as I say, I ain't going to complain about it.
I think when you look at it like this, you know, he's called up 2 up top, 1 dead, you know, then he's in a 1v1. Why not quickly, you know, he's got some help on the stairs. The guy on the stairs can quickly go help him get that kill, and then the guy can go run back down the stairs and go watch exactly what he's going to go watch anyway. I think he's just frustrated with the fact that it looks like he's just got no help here. And everyone's saying, like, you know, well, Kenny went on a 16 death spree. Someone else will win that. You know, if he finished that kill at the start of the clip, they wouldn't even be in this situation. I think him going on stream talking about it and everything like that, it's good. It's good for the culture. Only if he told his team this prior. Like, you know, if they went over the stuff prior to him going on stream and talking about it, so it doesn't look like he's not talking shit. But subliminally, you know, that's what it looks like to fans and, you know, to some people as well.
Yeah, when you're kind of in the hot seat, it's any excuse you make or any reasoning you give, especially at a fan base like OpTic, again, who's very black and white with how they approach things. There's no defense of it. You know, right now OpTic fans are unhappy, so anything he says is just going to sound like an excuse. So I think he definitely would have been better off to just leave it alone. But at the same time, him defending his position and putting it out there does give some clarity for fans who actually kind of care more about the gameplay and the moments. So I see his personal angle as to why to do this, and I agree with it. I agree with him coming out and saying it. But for the PR side of it, it's not going to get better, considering where OpTic fans are, how they're feeling right now, what just happened Major 1. It's not going to go well, you just coming out and seemingly even explaining yourself properly. It's still going to look like an excuse at the end of the day. So personally, I understand it. PR-wise, I think it's a terrible choice to come out and do this right now.
I get why people see Kenny as being on kind of, thin ice, or like it's a bit of a hot seat situation for Kenny. And I totally get why people are going to look at moments like this and see Kenny go from 18 in 10 to 18 in 26 in the matter of a few lives and discuss how that was even possible. And that's totally fair enough. But I also think that Kenny is getting treated very harshly by the community at the moment. And I think it's actually gone way too far, in my opinion. Like, people are treating Kenny like he's some sort of bum. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, this guy doesn't know how to play COD. Like, this guy's not a two-time world champion. Like, this guy didn't join your organization with the intention to win your team a world championship and did exactly that in his very first season with the team. Like, let's slow it down for 1 second here, OpTic fans, trying to get Kenny out of the team. Because if you drop Kenny, I guarantee you won't win another world championship for another 5 years. That's my opinion. I think Kenny's been that impactful to the success of this team. I think he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about COD. I think Kenny looks at the mini-map and he sees the way that Huke plays in a very unstructured style and says, I just cannot cope with this guy running around not knowing what he's doing on my team. And you can make successful teams work in that style. Huke's been on successful teams like that in the past. I don't think that fits with Kenny's style. And also, yes, last year, Kenny's team, OpTic, they placed top 12 at Major 4. It was an absolute stinker. Outside of that, they were 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and 1st. Actually very consistent last year, OpTic. Far more consistent than they've typically been. And outside of the Major 4, absolute full collapse. Like, okay, that was a weird one. But outside of that, every other stage, they were pretty consistent compared to what OpTic have been pre-Kenny. And I think that is, to some degree, the way that Kenny approaches competitive COD, the way that he likes to approach it from his perspective. I think that this Kenny Huke dynamic was always going to be incompatible. It was incompatible back in Los Angeles Thieves relatively briefly. Does Kenny need to improve? Does he need to play better? Does the Search and Destroy need to be better? Sure. But have OpTic made the wrong decision getting rid of Huke instead of Kenny? Absolutely not, in my opinion. And I think it will play dividends for them as time goes on.
Yeah. The style of Huke has been an issue on other teams prior, and I've been a particular critic of his and how he decides to play game modes and certain things he does in the map. So when it comes to someone that's very structured and calculated like Kenny, you're going to have a big back and forth, and I'm sure disagreement stylistically with those two guys. Plus, you already have Shotzzy, who, again, will do a lot of... He'll have moments where he'll kind of go off the rails and just kind of black out and start doing things on the map. When you have one guy doing that, that's fine. Maybe two guys doing that. Maybe Dash have points with blackout and just start piecing people and be a turret. And then you have Shotzzy going and making a play, kind of quietly blacking out and going to do what you have. At least you have PRED right there, calming perfectly. We've heard him on Seattle Surge. We've heard him on OpTic in their listenings. He's out there making sure, communicating, talking to the team. Ken and him are always back and forth, kind of letting each other know. They probably have the best comms in the team, honestly, those two. So when you lose that and you're left with three guys potentially who are just kind of blacking out together, and then Ken on his lonesome, not getting the information he's used to, it's going to make him play worse. It's almost objective. And if you don't see that, you're just being truly a hater and only looking at KD rather than the effects of playstyles, comms, and information when it comes to playing Call of Duty.
I'm not saying Kenny doesn't deserve some criticism, by the way. Like, I understand the criticism, and I also understand the criticism of Ken's perspective in okay, people are going to be annoyed that he's approaching the stream in this way, that he feels like he's throwing Huke under the bus. Like, sure, I get it. But, it doesn't take away the value he brings to the team, in my opinion. Go on, Trey.
People were talking about the Kenny clip, Kenny and Huke clip, where, Huke was like, we should rotate. Kenny was like, I'm going to try and hit old. I already went over that. And I don't think Kenny didn't make a bad play. I think the other people around him made a bad play because they thought Kenny was, you know, they gonna hit. Oh, they were like, yeah, fuck it, we'll do the same thing. The others made a bad play in that instance. So don't even try and talk about that clip. You know, I also feel like you put yourself in the firing line when you talk about games, when you talk about your team, when you talk about your, you know, how you're playing and whatever like that. I feel like you put yourself in a pretty difficult situation with fans, your teammates, your org, all that kind of stuff, to where, you know, anything you say or do can be misconstrued to, you know, make you look like to be the bad guy. And I don't think Kenny is that person at all.
I also know for a fact when Kenny drops his video discussing the change on his YouTube channel, all the comments are going to be like, because people are going to hear Ken's perspective then, and he's going to be nice and eloquent at discussing it, and people are going to be like, oh, you know, all the best, Ken, green hearts in the comments, all this stuff. That's just how it's going to be. So, you know, times change. This is the next point I wanted to mention, Ace. So JP tweeted this out. Time is really a flat circle, huh? At Karma. Because I think my read on this is JP was seeing all of the Reddit threads yesterday and the day before criticizing Kenny and his approach and all this. And as I say, Kenny deserves criticism. Like, his team did not play well. If the team wasn't meshing with him and Huke, he's partly to blame for that as well. Like, I'm just saying that, you know, my opinion, what they've done is still the correct move. But back in the day, Karma was in the same boat. I know that many of you guys in the chat were there. I was there. Ace was there. Trey was there. When OpTic would lose, and Karma would be getting cooked because he dropped, you know, a 0.8 in a critical map and they lost, and Scump had a 1.3 or whatever, right? And it was a constant thing that when OpTic lost, Karma would always be the scapegoat. And the big teams, best teams, there's always got to be some sort of scapegoat. Sometimes it's been Dashy, sometimes it's been PRED or Lay or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be some incredible nicknames that, you know, the chat are going to be dropping. Le Parlay, I saw the other day, I thought was pretty good, among others. But, you know, it's been Shotzi at times. But during the Dynasty days, obviously, it was never Scump. And even today, it can still be Karma because he's coaching the team. And sometimes it's content. We talked about that in Madrid, how, like, when OpTic don't play well, people start talking about how they're doing too much content. Like it's always how it goes. And I think that JP was feeling that Kenny is in a similar situation to Karma back in the day. And I mentioned this in my video today, and loads of the comments, understandably, were saying, well, I didn't see Karma dropping 16 deaths in a row. And, like, you know, and I get that too. And I don't really necessarily want to compare Karma and Kenny too much, but at the same time, Karma won all the, you know, 3 World Championship wins. Kenny's won 2. He's won several events in the CDL era. Kenny's kind of borderline top 10 of all time. So there might be a conversation to be had there for how Karma is, as he was underappreciated at times in OpTic. Maybe it's the same situation for Kenny. That certainly feels how OpTic see it. If you see what I'm saying? Like, OpTic seem to see it in that way. Whether that's justified or not is.
Somebody on a great team is always going to be the scapegoat. Even when it comes to, let's say, even a simpler example, like Karma's a big one. LAT, right? Envoy, if he doesn't play well, he gets the brood of it. The other guys always get exception. Somebody's always going to be that guy for you that the fans and the people just see as your, whether your weakest link or the guy who they want to put blame on. Shotzi's never going to be that guy for OpTic. Dashy's definitely never going to be that guy for OpTic. And PRED, I mean, we saw last year, there was times where PRED got a lot of the heat too. So Ken, right now, considering how Huke has been playing, he's looked very good. He's that guy. He's just filling the shoes, regardless if he won them a chip, regardless if he has critical gunfights and stuff that we don't see on the broadcast. His stat line is going to overshadow the importance he has to the team with comms, communication, and practice, leading, strats, I'm sure. These kind of things are ones that are unseen, and I'm sure Karma knows back in the day as well that a lot of his contributions will never be fully appreciated. But if you ask anyone in the Dynasty, they'll never understate the value that Damon brought to that team. And I'm sure no one on OpTic would ever undervalue the level of expertise and leadership that Kenny has brought to OpTic in the course of, let's say, last year and even right now into the future.
This is my take. All you fans and say you're supporters of the team are the most ungrateful motherfuckers of all time. These boys just went out there and won a world championship. Have a bad stint, and instead of backing him, giving him constructive criticism, nah, he's ass. He's got to go. We got to drop him. You guys are dumb. So dumb. Karma. Oh, he's dropped another 0.7. Get him gone. Get him gone. Woo! Damon's a world champ. 3 wings. That's the GOAT, baby. Never wanted you gone. Ungrateful. And it's not only OpTic. It happens to every team. Everyone has bad stints. Everyone has bad times. But you go and sit there and be like, nah, fuck it. He's washed. You know, he only won a world championship 3 months ago. He's washed. He's fucking ass. Get him gone. Ungrateful. And then guess what? You drop Kenny. Guess what? You get someone in that makes way more kills. I guarantee you lose way more. Because Kenny is not just a person there to get kills, even though he can if he really wanted to. He's like, you need Kenny. The same way you needed PRED last year. Major 4. Everyone, nah, PRED's got to go, bro. PRED's got to go. Look at the way we're playing. We haven't even won a series now. Blah blah blah. Boom, world champs come along. Woo, PRED, my guy, bro. Never doubted you for a second. Woo. And then he gets dropped, and everyone's like, nah, OpTic we need to get rid of. Now we need to get rid of Dashy. Dashy played like ass at the major. Well, what's Dashy do? We need an AR like Scrap. We need an AR like Drazah. You know, Kenny playing ass. Yo, can we just pick up a Slayer, bro? Like, it's there's no constructive criticism with fans. It's either you're good, you're not getting dropped, you're bad, you need to be dropped.
Yeah.
You're assholes. You're pricks.
Yeah, I mean, goes back to the Celium problems too, and all this stuff, man. It's just the same. It's the beaten cow. It's the beaten not the beaten cow. The hell am what am I trying to say here? The beaten. The dead beat.
I don't know.
Being a horse, dead horse, right?
Yeah,
being a dead horse.
Yeah. Being a dead horse. Thank you, man. Damn. My brain just my brain got fried right there.
All I'm saying is Kenny is a top 10 player in the CDL history. Maybe even not top 10, top 5.
He's top 5 in CDL history for sure.
Top 5 CDL history, potentially pushing top 10, or if not top 10 of like one of the best Call of Duty players. And he's having a rough stint on a game where his team's had a change, and you're just like, nah, Kenny's got to go, man. This guy's fucking dog shit.
If you got the fans to vote, the team they'd form is Shopsy, Huke, Illey, and Dashy. That's what they'd do. They'd have put that team back together.
Yeah.
And they would fry in some series, and they would not win anything.
All because you got the vibes, you know, the Zio, the trio, the vibes, the back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fuck off. Yeah, you guys will be lost about Kenny. You guys will be fucking lost about Kenny.
It all comes down again the balance of personalities on success, personalities and roles, not just like SMG AR, but leader, Slayer, Blackout, Strat Caller. Like different roles people play. OpTic with PRED and Kenny and Dashy and Shotzi, that team is just a perfectly balanced, structured team. Everyone has their role. There's vibes. There's leadership. There's strats. There's S&D expertise. There's hardpoint expertise. There's control expertise. Karma's leading you. Get back in the flow state together with that, core that won you a chip. And I'm telling you, man, OpTic they're gonna shine the rest of this year for sure. Like without a doubt in my head.
Kenny was one of the best things to happen to OpTic. That's what I'm putting in the chat since the dynasty. And I'm in agreement. He really is like, you need him on your team. And unfortunately, Kenny's gonna fry this major. He's gonna fry this. He might not win, but he'll fry, and everyone's gonna go, fuck, man, why did we pick PRED back up, man? Like, we need Huke back. We were frying online. You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to get blamed, and it won't be Kenny this time, because Kenny's going to be like, nah, fuck it, I'm a lock-in.
If Kenny has like a 0.7 against FaZe this weekend, he's going to get blamed, but it's not going to matter. Okay. Like, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, if the team loses to FaZe this weekend, I feel like that doesn't even mean anything. That's like meant to.
They're meant to lose to FaZe this weekend.
Yeah, with no practice and everything.
No practice, no nothing. Straight up fresh team.
AG moved.
If they beat-
AG has to come back and move back. Like there's a whole lot of stuff happening right now. So if they lose on Friday, Saturday, whenever they play, it doesn't actually mean anything to me. It's essentially like them losing to Boston the first week. It's the exact same thing. It means nothing to me.
Yeah, Kenny usually gets better in the season. I think the other thing as well is like, okay, so let's take it seriously for a second and say we're going to drop Kenny. Who are we getting? Like, we're bringing in Fellow.
Yeah,
We're bringing in
another one of the issues right now. I
we're
think this is
bringing
a
in
big
Paul
issue.
X. Like,
I won't even say for OpTic. I'll say across the board in a lot of the CDL, right? A lot of it right now. There's not many better players to take a chance on or pick up. There's no one available right now. And this
says we're picking up Scump.
Scump would be great too. But I'm talking about everyone in general, like any team. If you're in the top 6 teams, let's say, you actually don't have room to really drop anyone unless you're trading with another top 6 team because there's no one left to get. Yeah, and no one trades. So really, who you drop Kenny? There's no one to get, bro.
I guess they're saying you drop Kenny and you pick up Pred and you keep Huke. I guess that's what they're gonna say.
Yeah, but like, what does that? And everyone's like, "Yo, get Pred on a flex." Like, you were the same motherfuckers, be like, "Yo, simp on a flex is what we need."
Shotzi, Huke, Pred, Dash here, just like bloody hell. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it?
That's it. Yo,
we should not drop a good team.
We should drop Celium and move Simp to a flex, and then we'll pick up someone else. Yeah, let's move one of the greatest sub players of all time, who's still in his fucking prime, winning MVP after events and stuff like that. Yeah, let's just stick him on an AR, man, just for the fucking crack, because that's what we think's gonna fucking work. Shut the fuck up. You guys don't know.
And to be fair, there's been ARs. Your subs, okay, in COD, your subs are more important. At least in the last fucking 6 years, basically. Your subs are more important than your ARs. I said it. So Kenny can drop a 0.7, 0.8. As long as he's above 0.85 realm, OpTic can still win series, can win events, like without a doubt. That's the funniest part about this. Like, so it's too overstated. It's overblown. How, you know, maybe he's having a few bad series. This game, like we've said before, the ARs are not blessed in this game. If this GA goes through, by the way, with the Jackal, and you know, they lose the long barrel and stuff, I already predict a lot of ARs that are struggling. Their KDs are gonna go up a little bit. So 100% when these two are saying that Ken is, don't be surprised if you see Ken start to play better this Major 2. I wouldn't be shocked at all, and I'm kind of expecting it as well. So you heard it first here on Dope Check. This man is gonna be fine.
PD saying Simp didn't deserve the finals MVP. Well, guess what? He got it. And what are you going to do about it?
The other question, I guess, as we were mentioning in the chat earlier, is, okay, is it possible Pred comes back in and they ain't got the magic like they used to have? You know, they can't recapture the glory. I suppose it's not impossible, but I think it's relatively unlikely that we won't see that level again from OpTic at some point. Then again, like the Champs Curse has been a thing, but maybe the Champs Curse has already struck, you know, like the problems associated with winning the World Championship, as in maybe taking the foot off the gas a little bit, maybe team chemistry starts to falter a little bit when the team isn't winning as much. Like, you know, maybe OpTic have already gone through some of that drama with the fact that they've dropped Pred and now brought him back. Like, it's a different game than it was last year. We've only seen this team play a couple of series with Pred on the starting team. One of them was against Cloud9. One of them was against Boston at the start of the year. But let's be honest, like, it's a game where the SMG is looking good and a game where the likes of, you know, Simp's still looking good. Pred's going to be disgusting at this game when he fully gets his hands on it and he can actually grind it with the team as was intended. Are they going to be able to recapture the levels they need with FaZe and Thieves playing like that? Maybe not, but this is their only chance, in my opinion, of giving it a go as doing what they've done.
Even when AG was playing week 1, which isn't the most best example, he looked disgusting. He was dropping, you know, damn near 1.2, with Shotzi dropping 1.4. So if your sub is the most important role in this game, which it clearly is, the overpowered gun, when you have two of the best subs in the game, your team can only get better. Huke is a good shooter, but again, you not only add a guy who's an equally good shooter, you also add in the communication, leadership, the energy, and all that, yeah, this team is going to be dangerous. They're going to be shitting on people. Again, maybe early. I'm gonna do it now. Their faces are gonna be twist when I say it. My favorites for Major 2 right now. OpTic Texas.
Oh my god, he's actually done it.
Yep.
He's actually done it. His favourites are
I'm dead
Major
serious.
2, baby. OpTic
I'm dead
Texas.
serious.
To be fair, it's a Dallas event, and you could always count on OpTic to be at the grand finals, the home event. So,
Bro, the energy in that building when OpTic came out, if it was anything close to champs, was unbelievable. And that buff must be something. When you're sitting there playing COD, the adrenaline rush must be insane.
I had a take on it. People were asking me when I was streaming GTA, and they were like, they're back or everything like that. I don't think they're gonna be as good as people think they are. I think it's gonna take some time. Like I said, Rab, something happened, and I feel like it's gonna take a little bit of time to get back to what they were. It's gonna be hard to replicate too, especially with how good other teams are right now as well. So, we'll see. It's one of those ones where we'll have to see how they play against FaZe on the first day, check out. Because, if you get slammed 3-0 by FaZe, I'm expecting them to lose. But if they get slammed 3-0 and there ain't a smile on their face, we might be shocked.
it's going to be a road for sure. I think it's going to be a road back to where they want to be. I'm not too concerned about the FaZe series, but I think
there's no way they're getting chalked after losing to the guys who just won the chip after 3 days of practice, bro. Like, what are we saying, man?
No, I'm saying if they're not having a little laugh, you know what I'm saying? If they're getting slammed, get a little smile on the go.
this is the opening weekend for, so this is in a couple of
Let's
days.
see.
Obviously, we're going to run a little pre-show on the Friday to talk it in more detail, but so OpTic played 2 games as to FaZe. FaZe's first game back is Surge on the Friday, but OpTic's first game back is FaZe on the Saturday. So they only got a couple of days of practice here with a new team to prep for it. We know that FaZe is still going to have been going hard. They're probably going to be hot off the presses, taking down Surge on the first day. And then OpTic play Rocker, final game Sunday. So that's a pretty important one. But yeah, FaZe OpTic, third game on Saturday. It's a spicy one. And I think OpTic they'll need to be competitive in that series, I think, to give themselves confidence. But, at the end of the day, OpTic fans, they're not going to care what this team does online until they see them deliver online. Like, OpTic can go 4-3 this stage. Yeah, they probably won't go 3-4. But let's say OpTic even go 4-3 this stage and don't look that convincing. Doesn't really matter. You go to LAN, you get a good enough seed. If you deliver on LAN, that's what matters. OpTic could go 7-0 online this stage, and OpTic fans are still going to say, and fair enough, they're going to say, well, do it on LAN before we care, because you did the same bullshit at Major 1 and they didn't deliver on LAN. So that's why I think this stint for OpTic is obviously going to be very exciting to see how PRED gets on, how they look, but equally, a lot of the results are going to be pretty irrelevant when it comes Major time.
I also like that they have an easier matchup on Sunday after. They might get slammed by FaZe, but then you kind of get reinvigorated with Sunday playing against Rocker. You kind of get back in the mix, and you could win that one.
I think that Rocker one's a bit more scary than FaZe.
It can be if they lose, of course.
Just because we expect them to lose to FaZe because of the break they've had, lack of practice, everything like that. But based on talent-wise, you look at Rocker compared to them, you're like, well, they should just get fucking ran through anyway. But Rocker's got that weird ass fucking game 5 S&D mentality, and that's when fans are gonna be like, "Nah, no way, we've lost to Pool X online." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see
that. Definitely a game 5
that,
struggle bus could be on the board. But to be fair, like Kenny looks, PD is saying in the chat, like Kenny was obviously struggling in Search. We know that was like the biggest weakness of OpTic last year. Really, at times was their Search and Destroy. And eventually, Kenny and PRED figured it out.
It's not like they're crazy good at S&D off the bat.
Yeah, and like with Huke, I'd expect their Search to be better than it would be with PRED, at least for now. But I'd expect as a well-rounded team, they'll be better with PRED. But I think it does leave themselves vulnerable to the occasional Game 5 upset online. On LAN, I think it's a different story. Action. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, look, we'll see. It makes the league exciting that PRED is back in business. The other thing that I wanted to do, gentlemen, is do a bit of a tier list for where we currently have the teams. because some roster changes have gone through. We have a dope check tier list right about here. See you on Sunday, aiming for mid, battle and mid, clowns in charge, Falcon. I think these are the ones we came up with before. So sensational work. We're back at it again. I'll slot the Falcons nicely into this tier, and I'll slot FaZe right up here. I mean, look, we can change around the names of these tiers if you want, and we can do it with the chat as well a little bit, so you guys can give your thoughts. This is post-roster changes. Falcons have made a change. Yep, I guess so. Surge have made a change. But everyone else seems to be pretty comfortable with what they're doing. We've not heard anything else from other teams. We've not seen Ronnie tweet anything. So I guess we have to comfortably assume that for now, the likes of Cloud9 and Gentlemates and Rocker are going to stick it out for the time being. So, where should we begin?
I mean, I'd say we just go from what it is.
I'm down.
Yeah,
to do
literally.
that.
I was like, it seems like it's gonna.
Let's just go. Let's go left to right.
Yeah,
Ultra, Raven. That's just
I'm down.
It's gonna be pretty clear cut, honestly. It's gonna be pretty clear cut, just based on a lot of teams aren't really doing. They aren't really doing much, which kind of I think automatically puts them in clowns in charge, just because they're being clowns by not doing much. So
now, see you Sunday and aiming for 4th. It's not like
I
the
think
same shit.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, we had it like this, right? So then, we had it with these 3 teams. So then aiming for 4th was like the team that could be 4th. I think now it's a bit of a different one. Let me just make this A. And then we'll just leave it. And then this is just S. Let's just leave it like that.
Because aiming for 4th and see you Sunday is like.
No, I agree. Nowadays, that's
to
very
get
simple.
4th, you have to play on Sunday.
yeah,
That is true. Okay, FaZe are S tier, Thieves are S tier.
Yeah.
I think that's it. They were too many levels above everyone else in the major. A tier is interesting because, of course, Miami and Ravens made it to top 3, top 4 respectively. I ain't putting Miami in A tier. Trey ain't putting them in A tier. I know that for sure.
I don't think they're like mid.
they're the best of
think-
mid.
Yeah.
They're either the worst of A tier or the best of mid.
Do I see Miami coming out next event and getting where they got this event? Absolutely no.
But if they do, we'll eat our words. That's for
If
sure.
they did, but that's the consistency. It's a one major thing. What did they do last year? Piss.
True.
What they're doing this year? First event. Online weren't great. The major was good for them. They can go best of mid.
Yeah, I agree. Best of mid is.
I
probably
think
how I
that's
have them.
justified. Obviously they did very well at the major, but also they beat OpTic to get to top 6. They then beat Rocker, and maybe they should have lost, but they did win, to be fair. But they nearly got full sale.
And they nearly got full sale.
And then they played Ravens, and they won an incredibly tight series against Ravens. Both hard points were really touch and go. So I think you look at their results, and it's not like Heretics had a dominant run to top 3. It was an impressive run for sure, but it's not like they were beaten. If they'd have beaten Toronto, if they'd have beaten, I don't know, I guess they beat the other teams they needed to beat, to be fair. But you know what I'm saying?
I think AT is interesting too, because there's an argument now that OpTic's made a change. Carolina's been shockingly surprising, and Ultra is still a team that has so much potential. A tier is a bit interesting for me.
This is where I struggle, right? Because let's do Ravens
A-tier.
next, right? Let's do Ravens next.
Ravens, I'm putting them in A tier.
Because they have to be in there, don't they? They have to be
I'm
A.
putting them in A tier. Listen, they get 4th at the major.
Yeah.
What, second at the minor?
Yeah,
Second at the
second,
minor,
the
4th at the
results speak
major.
for
Had it-
themselves.
Yeah, had an okay stint online. Kind of fumbled a little bit. They looked pretty bad at hardpoint at the event, but then they came back. Vivid was playing with one eye,
Yeah.
And they still doesn't work. Yeah.
and they done work. And he was telling me that, he was in pain. He couldn't see out of his right eye when he was playing, and they still came in, made it to a Sunday, done work against teams that had full sets of eyes, full sets of thumbs, no pain, no nothing, and they were good. So, yeah.
All right. Ultra.
I think like I just want to say a bit more on Ravens really because like I still
go
my head still tells me they're fraudulent, but like but the results do speak. Like they did make the run, they're beating teams in 5. I mean, it's tough to get over the fact that they nearly got back-to-back 50-point clubs by Thieves, and obviously they lost to Miami in the end, a team that we're putting in the mid-tier. But still, I think I put them A, but I'm not like they're not like a confident A. Like, are Ravens the 3rd best team in the game? Is that what we're saying right now? Because that feels a little bit like if you played this tournament out and like 100 times, how many times are Ravens making Sunday? I don't think they're making it like that.
That's what I'm saying. They done this. They done this with Reese Vivid with one eye.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm actually leaning on.
We've got to give them a bit more respect, and this is where I give Ultra my disrespect. Ultra's last 4 series, they've lost 3-2 to Rocker. They beat a shit Surge 3-0. They lost 3-0 to FaZe and then 3-2 to Carolina.
Yeah.
And then in the qualifier, they lost 3-1 to Texas. They beat FaZe at the very start when they were getting smoked, when FaZe were ass. And then they beat Mid.
I think they deserve to be in that 3rd slot as of right now. The only team I would argue that could be above them, just based on potential alone, is OpTic. That's the only one. But if we're going based on actual results here, Carolina has proven themselves to not be fraudulent at all. Again, you have an online important minor, right? It's online though, but like still, it's people are trying hard to win this. Obviously, there's money on the line, and then you go to Madrid and they still perform. They make it to a Sunday. That team is 4 guys who can all play, and together is a very balanced squad. I've been saying this since they came together. So I'm actually happy having them either 3rd or 4th. So like 1st or 2nd in the A tier. I think it's well deserved actually.
No, I think it's definitely deserved and justified. I can't get out of my head that I feel like the fall off is coming, you know. That's just what I feel.
Yeah, but we can't put them in like fucking Falcons just because you think you've got your big crystal bollock.
I just think, look, their search has been so good. They're 14-7 in search. Like it's going to be difficult to maintain that level of production. I think like it's going to be difficult for TJ to maintain a 92 rated card. But you know, we'll see. I love the fact this team is doing well. Like I'm a big fan of this team. I just think that if I was predicting what's going to happen, if we're predicting like Major 2 results, which is kind of not what we're doing, like we're saying how good these teams are going to be right now with their current roster. I think that's what we're doing. Because with OpTic changing their team, like we've got to rate OpTic based on how good we think they will be right now. I think that's what we're...
Yes, the power ranking into Major 2, the prediction power ranking into Major 2.
Yeah, so I think it's fair. So, all right, Ultra... Like, where would you put Ultra? Because I think they're better than they placed. Like, I don't want this tier list, and it's not, to be fair, because we put Miami in mid. But I don't want this tier list just to be major placings. Like, I think Toronto are better than Heretics. I actually think if Toronto played Ravens 100 times on LAN, I think Ultra win 55 times. But that might be difficult to justify Ultra third.
I think you're faded for that.
I do too.
Bro, Vivid had one eye.
I don't think that counts because he played better on LAN anyway. I don't believe the one-eyed Raven cheese. Like he played with 2 eyes on LAN and he was getting shit on half the season. He comes to LAN.
Exactly. Isn't that even better that they're a better on LAN team?
No, I agree. It's good for sure.
I feel like you're hurting your own argument here.
Ultra also 6-1 online.
Yeah, but do we really take online into account? Really?
I mean, Ultra
when it came to
look, Ultra were 1 second away from...
Let me ask you a question.
When it came down to... Go ahead.
If Ultra went 0-7 in the qualifier and then won the major, would we not say they're the best team?
I mean, yeah, I guess we would. So, okay, look, online is not the most important thing, but I also think there's always nuance to these majors. Like, they smoked Surge first round, they played FaZe second rounds, and, okay, they got slammed on the control. The Search was winnable, I think, for them, and that Hardpoint map 1 was an insane map that they could easily have won. 237, 236, like an absolute blockbuster map. I can't get over the fact that when Ravens scrim, they get shit on, and when Toronto scrim, they're slamming teams, and that will reflect in the result at some point. That is my opinion. Ultra went to the major, they lost to FaZe, they lost a Game 5 to the Ravens, which happens, but I think if they play that series 100 times, they win the majority of the time. I might be fried for this, but I think Ultra are better than people are giving them credit for. I think Ultra
bro
in the
is going
A-tier.
off of like you're going off of like org
Oh, they're
names.
going in A. They're going in A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying,
I
but you're
thought you
going
were
off
gonna
like
say
org
mid-tier.
names right now. You just because the
No.
org name.
No,
sounds
I'm
better than
going off
Ravens.
eye test and ball knowledge.
Nah, bro, this is.
I'm just saying.
absolute cheese right
I'm
now.
just saying. You look at their last few results. It ain't like they're not looking the greatest.
Let's have a
Yeah,
look at
they-
some.
they-
Let's bring us some lineman cuts. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's fine. You can
Yeah,
bring up
my
my man cards, but I'm telling you.
The issue that I've already seen with the Toronto team, and people may not agree, is they have a lot of talent, but who's leading? Anyone care to answer that? Who's leading? Who's the Kenny of that team? Go ahead.
I would like to say insight, but he doesn't really say anything.
Correct. I could see why at the start of a season, based on talent alone, they're frying. But as the course of the season goes on, they're not going to develop the way they should. Because these four guys to me aren't the four guys that are leading a team, calling shots. They're shooters for sure. Joe Deceives, Kleenex Beans, those guys are all shooters for sure. But I don't see a Kenny. I don't see a Slasher. I don't see even you could say a Scrap or Envoy type figure. I don't see these type of guys on this team. So that's kind of my issue with this squad and why their development over the course of a season to me and them doing worse at the end of Major 1 makes a lot of sense. And why they can't get it together and really make that full push at a major or at an important event. So, yeah, I have them honestly at the bottom of A tier for me. If we're going to put them A tier, they're the bottom of A tier.
Nah, they ain't the bottom.
We're putting another
OpTic's
team
the
in there.
bottom?
Well,
You're
see,
faded
look,
for that one.
they're coming round. They're coming round to my takes.
Would it be harsh to say OpTic would be at the bottom of A tier?
Hell yeah. That's the world champs of last year.
You want to do OpTic now? We're putting them in.
Well, this is my thing, right? This is my thing. Are we putting them in the middle or are we putting them at the bottom? Because they look like they had a pretty bad major, and I'm judging off the major. But they have just made a team
We've got to
change.
judge them off Pred, man. Like, we've got to judge it
No,
off
we're
the
looking-
new Pred
If we're
story.
judging them off Pred, then they go top of A tier.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the top eight two are secondly just because Carolina's being consistent.
And
I'll
also,
take one of those
TJ
places.
owns Shotzi and Pred.
All right, let me ask you a
Kinda-
question. Where would you put OpTic if they didn't make a roster change?
If they did make a roster change,
And they just they still had Huke.
bottom of A tier, top of mid.
Yeah, probably they would still be.
I feel like
at
that's I
A
feel
tier.
like, I feel like that's where I have this take because of the major, but now they've got Pred. I'll happily put them up top.
All right. So yeah, I
Or,
put him either.
actually, I'll put them in the middle just because we haven't seen them play a lot this year.
Correct. Yeah, we've seen a loss actually, a loss and a win, and then now a brand new squad start of Major 2. So I'm okay having them right below Carolina, right below. But just because we haven't seen them much, that's the only reason why. I think Carolina still deserves that top of A tier for now.
I think it's funny because I wasn't trying to like roast Ravens, but then when I consider Ravens versus OpTic, I do want to have Ravens above OpTic just because of just that matchup this year has gone a number of times in Carolina's favor, like a couple of 3-2, Shotzi says X, and then obviously Ravens beat them anyway. So I think this is fair. Like if I had to predict based on, if this tier list was predicted placings for Major 2, I have it almost like this.
I think that's what we might have to start doing, because when we do these tier lists, roster changes happen, and then we have to judge these, like, you know.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Because we're judging OpTic, we're judging these teams based on Major 1, and this new OpTic team didn't play at Major 1, so realistically, they shouldn't even have a rating.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. This is prediction. This is forward looking.
Come on.
You consider the past
That's
as well.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would like to do one like prediction wise for where they would be.
Yeah, which I think is kind of what we're doing here, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffy, I think this. I actually think Carolina's a really good team. I truly believe they're a very good team with the balanced structure. Austin had a little bit slower start, but that's how it goes as he learns the game more and more. All the ARs in this game, especially the ones that are more methodical, like Kenny, like Slasher, as the course of a game goes on, they get better and better. So
I actually like our teams right now.
I'm happy with this.
Surge made a change. They're bringing in Neptune, to our understanding. I mean,
do they get better?
Yes,
I think they do.
Do they get infinitely better? Crazy better? Do they go crazy? Do they go insane?
You're so bored, bro.
They go bottom of mid.
Nah, not bottom of mid. You're wilding. Nah, not bottom of mid. Unless we have a disagreement on someone else who's about to come in.
Maybe so,
curious.
actually. Yeah, maybe so.
I'm looking at the other four, and they looking like
they're looking like clowns. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I would have Boston in mid. I wouldn't have them in bottom.
I agree with that. I think Surge, like
Boston, you got Boston under Surge.
Yes, with Neptune, yes.
Okay, let's do Boston now.
I remember what I said. I think Boston's a fraudulent team. I think that they're going to be good for a little bit. They're going to gas out their ass. I think Surge is actually like, with Neptune, they just needed some firepower. Those four guys are solid. I think they're solid players. They just had a guy who couldn't shoot anyone. Yeah.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
And one more take, one more parallel that's going to make you see my vision a little more. Ready?
I don't believe it.
Heretics got so far, obviously home, series cheese, whatever, but they got far because this bang out COD works in this game. You know what I'm saying? This is a game where finally it actually works out pretty well. This scrappy ass Surge team, like we saw last year, there was times where they were winning series based on bang, like 0-4 and Abuza just banging shit out and winning. That's why now that you have new Neptune in as well, that gives you the type of firepower that you need to will your way to victory. Maybe not at events. I'm not going to say they're going to come through and make a big killing there, but online, getting some CDL points and such, I actually think this team gets a lot better when you have firepower like Neptune on your team. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's not a hope in hell. There's not a hope in hell that you're getting me to put Surge above Boston. There's not a willing bone in my body that would allow that to happen.
Rab, do you agree with Trey?
I agree with Trey 100%. I'm not a Snoopy hater like you. I actually believe in Boston. I'm not convinced. Like, I think part of me wants to put them clowns in charge because I think they probably should have made a change.
C9 beat them, bro.
Nah, but
I'm a C9 lover, and I'm even gonna hate, kind of like, I guess I'm throwing shade, kind of like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, but it was.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I just think Boston are a team. Like, if I had to, I think they're just a better team than Surge, and I'm not convinced that this picking up Neptune thing is really going to work out. Like, okay, they bring maybe a bit. They do bring some more firepower to the team. I think 04 is probably destined to get a little bit better. I expect more from Abuza and Nasty.
It's like Hicksy. It's like building a house with peanut butter rather than now you have cement. That's basically the difference, right? Hicksy's peanut butter. Neptune can shoot back, and challengers, he would look like Huke. He was running around just frying kids.
Hicksy's going to drop a tweet up right now.
I got the fire, guys. I got the fire back.
Yeah, we're talking the whole course of the major. Yeah, Cloud9 beat them. Cool. Cloud9 are also 1-6 in the online stint. They're fucking dog shit. Get them in Clowns in charge.
I agree that should be in Clowns in charge. I'm fine with that. But even then, Boston Breach are fraudulent. That's all I gotta say. Super fraudulent. Essentially, Boston Breach and Cloud9 are the same to me in my head at least, because both of them just take people to map 5s and then anyone can win a map
One
5.
wins, one don't.
Anyone can win a map 5. It's up in the air.
Yeah,
Wait, is that
Boston
true?
were still like
No,
5
that's
and 2,
true.
like third seed in the
Yeah,
qualifiers.
look at C9. Look at C9 map 5s. Look how many there are.
Now.
They did play quite a few and they lost a lot. I think,
Grandfather,
unfortunately
all
for
you guys in
Surge,
chat, shut up, bro.
I am just a hater because I don't know, like Abuza's got me blocked on Twitter. He ain't unblocking me on Twitter. The guy's crashing out all the time on the timeline. It's time for the downfall. The time has come.
Cloud9 have played 5 game 5s. Boston have played 7. But the difference is Boston can fucking close them out.
But you listen,
Boston
bro,
got Snoopy, bro. Top 10 player in the game.
As an ex-pro yourself, anyone that gets to a map 5, it's anyone's game. Falcons have won S&Ds, right? Let's think about that. The worst team in the game can win S&Ds. S&D's not the fucking end-all be-all. It's the easiest game mode to win. It's the most up-in-the-air game to win. It does, but it's the most up-in-the-air game to win. So my point being, both these teams are fraudulent in the sense that they both go to map 5s. One just happens to have more wins in map 5. One doesn't. Boston is ass. They should be clowns in charge. But we'll see this.
Look at it this way. Boston have more game 5s because they can win more respawns that Cloud9 can't win. That's the reason they don't go game 5 as much.
That's fine, but this is by 2. Boston, and again, Boston, we'll see. Again, I'm telling you, this tier list is someone's going to be in the hot seat for this tier list. Don't worry. It's either going to be me or it's going to be one of you two or both of you. We'll see.
Gentle mates.
So
now,
I like how Cloud9, we had never had any discussion there. It's just Cloud's in charge. I mean,
yeah, I agree. 100%.
Now, if there was a team,
if
there was a team that I thought that I think Huke might go to, Gentle Mates would be one of them.
For who? For Kismet? That sounds like,
nah, not my boy.
Like how? That sounds weird. Again, that's the problem. Again, I said it last week. I don't want to reiterate, but I just want to say, Gentle Bates doesn't know what they want to be, bro. Do you want to be a French org or do you want to win? If you want to win, drop in Kismet. Bro, the piss make it thing out of my head when I said it.
That's good.
Dude, dropping kids would just be so stupid to me. Like, it'd be so absurd to me. That guy is definitely a better piece to hold on to than Linz at this time, in my opinion. But do you want to win or do you want to be French?
I think this is why they have to be clowns in charge, because their results aren't good enough to justify anything else. And, they turn up to the major, they get top 12 and they're going to stick it out. It's like, sure, but you ain't going to win with the approach that they have. Like, you're not going to win. So
now I'm not saying Kismet should be dropped, but if they were gonna get rid of someone, they ain't get rid of Linz.
I mean, it can't be Kiz. It's just
they ain't getting rid of Priester because he's their AR. So it only makes really room for one person to go.
I mean, it would blow my mind if they got rid of Kiz. Kiz would be a really interesting free agent. Like,
Kiz would make noise as a free agent for sure.
Yeah, he would. Damn, 58 votes and 93% Boston over Surge. Well.
Oh, good, man.
There we go.
Y'all on some cheese, just meat riding these two blokes on my above me right now.
Ride that meat, baby.
On the meat.
Super on me right now.
All right, so like,
venison right now.
do they go above
we don't really have to speak.
C9? Like, what? How do we do this clowns in charge?
Let's properly rank clowns in charge. Okay, let's properly rank this. Okay, I think the top of clowns in charge definitely has
Cloud9.
No, top of the best ones, Rocker.
Yeah, maybe Rocket go clowns. Rocket 100% are clowns because like they fiddled with dropping Paul X and then they haven't bothered with that and they're just going to run it back. That's clown behavior in my opinion. Like, let's have some ambition in my opinion. Especially when a guy like Fellow is available. If they're not going to do that, like, that's clown behavior to me.
He wasn't good online. He went to LAN, started 2-11, had a resurgence to get himself neutral. They won the map, whatever, cool. You guys can upgrade. There's no ambition there, like Rab said. There's no grit. There's no tenacity. There's nothing. Your grit's there because you go game 5 every fucking series. That's where your grit's at. Not because you fucking... It's not love of the game out there, man.
I'm sure they like team with each other, but it's just like... It's just so...
I'm sure listen, I'm sure they all think he's a great guy.
I just think when you've got a trio like Nero, Estriel, and Geo that you've done very well to put together, in my opinion. Like, I look at that trio...
And you're winning respawns whilst Paul's dropping stinkers.
This is what I'm saying, right? Toronto Ultra, Kleenex, Beans, Joe Deceives. Excellent trio. Insight is the man there to round that out. He's done a pretty good job. If you look at Rocket, you got Geo, Estriel, and Nero. Like, that trio that I've just mentioned, in terms of pure skill, is not that dissimilar to the trio that I mentioned on Beans, on Ultra in terms of potential. But I just think the consistency of the Ultra trio is better. Their players are probably marginally better as well. But like, they're just a more... What I'm saying is, Rocket have done a good job getting the talent they have, given the teams that could have signed some of those players. And I feel like they're going to squander it with their decision making. They're going to say top 6. Oh, wow, pretty good. We might make champs. But it's like, no, you actually had a good off season. You signed some good players here. They've shown out. Estriel's getting better and better. You know, let's maybe kick on.
I think Sid makes a great, just like a general point. Well, I also want to talk about Rocker. Crazy how 3 teams refuse to make changes because they want to keep players from their countries. We're in a weird place in the CDL where that is true. And I hate that fact. I think that's holding back a lot of the movement and flow. And kind of, I don't know, the identity of the CDL is kind of weird now. Again, are we playing for our countries? Are we playing just to play? Or are we playing to win? I feel like winning, like, it's almost come to a point of acceptance that the top 3 and top 4 is just them. And like Rab said, we're just fighting for a champ spot. We're just fighting for a couple $1,000s in there. And we want to make it to EWC.
You know who ain't pussies? Falcons. Those motherfuckers be making roster changes left, right, rhubarb. They ain't pussies.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're making some movement. But Rocker to me, again, great take out of
To be fair, like, I don't...
You were cooking with that one.
I made a good take, but also... Are they
should be
better than Surge? Are they worse than Surge?
They should be in mid based on their performance. Are they clowns in charge for not dropping?
That's what I'm saying. I think they're clowns in charge, but they might.
I got it. Let me cook. I got it. 1 second. Let me cook. Where this is predictive of future, they're gonna be clowns in charge because they're gonna realize, holy fuck, we should have dropped Paul X when we could have. That's why clowns in charge, but the top of clowns in charge. You see what I'm saying? Agreed? It's about the future. We're not looking right now.
I just feel like, I mean, are they Surge versus Rocker? Rocker are just better, I think. But
all right, then we change Surge for Rocker.
I don't know. Like, you could both put them. Both here.
We're looking ahead.
Yeah, but this is my point. We've done a tier list based on performance of Major 1 and the future.
That's not how I've been doing it. That's not how I've been doing it. I've been doing it thinking of obviously evidence of what we saw to now what Major 2 is going to look like.
My thing is we've done a tier list for 2 different things.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys have. I have
Rab, you're in agreement, right? Like, we've got a tier list.
I get that, but like, you've got mainly I'm thinking about the future here. I'm mainly thinking about what I expect to happen in Major 2.
Ahead, yeah, 100. That's what I'm stuck on. Ahead.
I'm doing a tier list. I'm
Surge get better.
List. If you told me the future of the tier list, I would,
What would you change? Wait, maybe that you have a different thought, but future of the tier list, what would you change now? Because now clearly we've been on 2 different planes.
Well, the reason we have Heretics in the top of Battle of Mid is because they had a good Major.
Okay.
But they didn't have a good online.
So you think they should be lower?
Well, if we look into the future, yeah.
Here we go again. No, I don't 100% disagree, but I also feel like it's...
I still think, honestly, considering I think this is going to be a good little amp up confidence booster for them. I think they are better than Boston, Surge, Rocker, Cloud9, and Gentlemates.
Yeah, I actually think they might be.
Yeah, but we also thought Super was going to come in because Super is, a better player than some of the people on there, and they've had a good Major. When Super literally just turned 18, we all thought Super was going to be in there, you know what I'm saying, Rabbit? Super going to fly straight in there. They had a good Major. and now we're here.
I'm tempted to do it like this, and Ace ain't going to agree. But
That's fine. Again, I'm cool with what I see. The chat definitely disagrees with me, but
because I agree that
don't-
Rocket do need to be above Surge. I think they do have more potential, and I don't like what Surge has done. And I think that if I'm going to clown Rocket for their decision making being clowns in charge, Surge I can equally clown because they've made a one-man move. Arguably could have been a two-man move. They could have picked up Huke. They've decided to get B-Tech Huke. They pass an Afro, which is probably a mistake.
How about this? Let me make one suggestion. What if we just take Rocker down to clowns in charge as well?
But you see,
Rocket coming down here. Boston coming down here.
I struggle to put Rocker and Clowns in charge purely based on the fact that they have a really good trio.
Yeah,
And,
exactly right.
They've picked up a really good trio.
I just compared them to
They're trying
Ultra.
to
I can't have them in.
they're trying to have faith in Paul. They feel like they've had a good major considering, and they're going to let Paul have a stint. And if he's bad, they're going to get rid of him.
If they don't, they will be the biggest clowns in charge, and then we'll look back on this.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. I'll accept that as long as that's the take. I'll accept it. Yeah.
We also got to look at Boston as well. Like, if we're looking at the major they played, like. Who'd they lose to again? What was it?
FaZe got smoked and then lost to Cloud9.
Yeah, and lost the game 5. So, yeah,
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
I kind of like this. It's just, are Cloud9 gonna get last place again? That's the question, isn't it? Really? Because they're the team I look at here, and I'm like, surely. They're gonna.
I thought they would be the first team to make a change,
but seemingly not. I actually think I can justify this. I think I quite like it. It's a bit of a mix between current power rankings and a little bit future looking. But
I'm happy with this list. I don't know. Trey was on some.
No, I'm pretty happy with this actually.
I don't know.
I'm saying like some teams we ranked on their major performance and some teams you ranked on the future. It wasn't consistent.
The thing is, Miami. If you put Miami any lower than 6th, it feels disrespectful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I'm saying, but like some we had for the major performance and some we had for the future. We didn't. There's some teams we didn't combine for both. But regardless of what you guys said, that's not what you specifically said. Is I'm looking for the future, like your Magneto or something.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that comparison. But it's more that the evidence for the future comes from the past. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, how someone shows up on LAN is important. Now that I see that, they're not breakers on LAN in this game, they look a little more confident. I imagine them to be. I thought Heretics would actually falter in Europe. I thought they were going to play a lot worse than they did. I thought the home crowd stuff was going to get to them. And I thought they weren't. You actually were the one that said they were going to do good. I thought the opposite. So that surprise to me is what now affects my future outlook about where they should be on this list. So, not using the past, I think, is a little faded as well.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dope Check Pre-Major 2 tier list. We have Atlanta FaZe and LA Thieves in the S tier. The A tier, topping up by the Carolina Real Ravens, the most consistent best of the rest. We think OpTic are going to be right there with them for Major 2 with PRED back in the team. Ultra are on a very similar level, I think, as well. Then we go down to the mid tier. Heretics, despite top 3 at the Major, there's still some questions on whether they can consistently execute that going forwards. Boston played very well online, couldn't really deliver it on LAN, but Awakening maybe starting to slightly come good. Cammy had a poor series on LAN. I think we need to see more from them. They're bang in the middle, but to me, Boston were like comfortably top 5, top 6 kind of team. Now they're slipping a little bit. Rocker are making some questionable decisions, in my opinion, sticking with poor legs, but they've got a very solid trio. I think they'll still deliver good results. Surge, they're bringing in Neptune instead. I'm still not convinced of the management of the team or that it's going to substantially turn them around. Okay, they're bringing some more firepower. I don't know how much that's going to deliver for them. They're still playing out of Vancouver as well, which is not ideal maybe. Cloud9, the same story from LA. They probably could have done something with their team. They haven't. Gentlemate's in the same boat. And then Vegas Falcons are the Vegas Falcons. So, that's my breakdown. Any comments, boys, on the list?
Nah,
I think we cooked.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is going to be pretty good. Again, my only concession, my only flop or swap I would have, again, is Surge being higher than Boston and Rucker, just because this Neptune change, I think, is going to be more impactful than people assume, considering how much Hicksy was holding them back and their potential as a team. So
I will say, Neptune's had his shots in the league. He didn't play very well. So,
Agreed.
you know, we can say that he brings more firepower, but he weren't bringing any firepower when the last time he's in the league. So,
True. Again, it's all we're looking at the future, man. This is gonna be, like I said, either I'm gonna be in the hot seat or one of you two is gonna be in the hot seat, and we're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks for sure who cooked here and who didn't.
All right, gentlemen, we've been going about 2 hours, 40 minutes. I think it's about time we wrap up the show. Thanks all for tuning in live on the YouTube, after the fact on YouTube and the Spotify. Trey, any final thoughts before I give it to Ace to close out this bad boy?
1,000 viewers on the show maximum. Had about 800 to 900 average. You guys are great. Seriously, we appreciate you guys. You know, I feel like we are the most like direct, constructively criticism assholes there are around. And I don't think I don't think it gets any better than that. You know, we speak about it. We don't sugarcoat nothing. We're in there like swimwear, on it like a car bonnet. And yeah, I like this.
This guy with his jive talk right at the end of the show. I love it. Absolutely. Episode 46. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for watching the video. If you made it to this point of the video after 2 hours and 50 minutes of us yapping and going off, yo, we love you. And from all of us here at Dope Check, we can't wait for more Call of Duty this weekend. It's going to be a really exciting major with all the storylines and, you know, PRED coming back in. It's going to be crazy. More Dope Check, more COD, more greatness. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. See ya. Bye.